unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Christopher Media. Let's make some noise. From Asthma Core Studios near Detroit, Michigan. It's unregimented.
Gangsters, what's up, guys?
And now, here are your hosts.
All right, 2021. COVID's gone. The election's settled. Everything's cool. No, wait, no, it's not. Chris.
I'm Aaron.
And I'm Rich.
Fuck 2021.
It was a good 5 days.
That's how you gonna do us? Right away.
You had hope. You had like almost a full week of hope in your heart.
My favorite meme is what I sent you guys the other day. The Joker showing around Pennywise. It says 2020 showing 2021 around the workplace.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. Yeah. Speaking of Jokers, a whole bunch of them showed up out in fucking D.C.
Yeah, let's just start there. What's your first impressions of, well, I'm curious not like what your impression of it now is, but I want to know what your first impression was witnessing it, because I'm sure you saw, there was footage all over the place in real time.
I mean,
I was at work, so I was listening to the radio, and they were like,
okay,
we would like to sit here and talk sports, but there's something huge going on in D.C., in our capital.
Yeah.
It looks like something out of a third world country, so we're going to go ahead and talk about that for the next 2 hours. So I saw it after I'd heard the reports of it, and okay, your temper tantrum's done, and what did it accomplish? Is he going to be president after Tuesday? No.
Yeah.
Is anything changed? No.
Is the guy in the Viking helmet our new king? No.
But just like temper tantrums that were thrown in the mostly peaceful fucking protests and riots this last summer, okay, you got to throw your shit fit. Now go to timeout. You crave the naughty step, obviously. Go sit on it.
Yeah, I like to think I'm equal opportunity and calling people out. I had the same thought that I had many times this summer. Hey, look, a group of idiots.
Well, no, they get no sympathy because hey, look. By the way the Constitution's written, that's how we're supposed to fucking get a new government. We storm the old one and take them out and install a new one.
Yeah, now, that is a thought that I did have, was all this talk of revolution this summer. January 6th is closer to what it would look like. It didn't accomplish anything.
But it's not like there's a proposal for a new government.
Exactly.
A new way of doing things. Like, you're going to overthrow the old democracy to install
the old democracy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, I was going to say new democracy, but you're absolutely right. You're just going to install the regular democracy.
Well, I agree because Earl tried to do a victory lap in the Sporgy chat
runaround
about, hey, it's the revolution. I'm like, no, it's not. Nothing happened. A zero burger. I mean, a lot of people got federal charges on him now. That shit happened. But yeah, nothing.
Well, first of all,
nothing was disrupted.
First of all, the CHOP
no, it was disrupted, Chaz, but it quickly came back together and they finished their business.
CHOP or Chaz or whatever the fuck it was called, the autonomous zone there. That was more of a revolution than this shit. This shit, it's a revolution. It's not even another fucking Woodstock. It didn't even last 3 days. Shut up, you jackass.
I'm with the line of thinking of another podcast I listened to. I think these were people that got way farther than I thought they were supposed to get. Shit, we got through. Now what?
That's what really angered me on the day, was that everybody knew. Anybody with a brain still in their head knew that there was a high potential for violence on that day. Just like any kind of other demonstration where there's a lot of, tensions are going to run high. If there was an actual police presence like there was for many of the stuff that we saw over the last summer, then it wouldn't have gotten to that point, obviously.
But
we wouldn't have had actual deaths on our hand because...
Did we lose Aaron?
No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, you were talking and you just, boom, it just cut off.
It sounded like it sounded like it cut you off.
Yeah, I thought call dropped or something.
Yeah, Skype's been kind of choppy. It's like, I don't know if it seems to be on my end where I'm not quite aligned with you guys. So every once in a while it seems to jump to like catch up to real time. That might
Gotcha. Okay.
But that's basically, I mean, we knew that all the potential was there, and it looks like it was more Trump that is directly responsible, not indirectly responsible for like riling these people up, but directly responsible for subduing the police presence there, which is the final nail in the coffin of this thing getting completely out of control. If there was a strong police presence, these people would have stamped their feet and they, would have maybe thrown some stuff and they would have got gassed and maybe some of them would have been arrested, but I highly doubt it. And then it would have been over.
Well, this is where the message gets mixed because I've heard that it was offered and the Capitol Police are like, "Nah, we got this."
Well, that's where I'm at now with the situation. What news source do you trust? Because you literally have news sources reporting the complete polar opposite from the other news source that's reporting something. And it's like, no wonder this fucking country is ripping itself apart. We can't even get a consensus on just the facts because no one wants it. You know what this showed me? We're all snowflakes. And I'm done. Yeah. I'm done. This country doesn't deserve freedom. We as a people are shit. We deserve... The chickens came home to roost on that day, and to quote Malcolm X, being an old farm boy, I ain't ever sad when the chickens come home to roost. I'm just glad. It showed the pussies we are as a fucking country.
If I'm our enemies, I'm like, wait, not yet. It's getting close. But we're almost there.
Anybody who's looking to invade, now's a prime time.
Well, they're going.
By the way, you can start with the coast because that's the softest of the soft in this country. It'll be a real easy fucking first tip of the spear into this country.
Yeah, start California to be real easy.
It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. And to me, the biggest fucking and this whole Trump's responsible. Hey, Aaron, go raid the Capitol. He didn't. See, he's a human being. He has independent thought. Don't let these fuckers off the hook by fucking. I understand your TDS makes you want to fucking orange man bad. He evil. He at the center of all this shit. They're still human beings with free will, and they still did this shit on their own. Don't let them off the fucking hook. Just like I didn't let the fucking people this summer off the hook. Don't let these fuckers, the fucking shaman, the MAGA shaman, Super MAGA Bro, or whatever the fuck his name is, looking like fucking Super Mario 3 when you eat the fucking right goddamn fucking power up. He's a jackass. Throw his ass in jail just like the rest of these motherfuckers.
Come on, Rich. That guy's got Antifa written all over him.
That guy has mental illness written all over him.
Have you heard of the lawyer who is saying that Trump owes all of these people a pardon?
Yeah, I just saw that like 15 minutes before we started recording.
Speaking of magic mushrooms.
Well, that was it seemed like a kind of Hail Mary pass that he had an opportunity to get on TV, and this was the lawyer for the horn dude, right? The QAnon warrior or whatever.
Yeah, the shaman, who, by the way, who's bitching in prison because he has to have an all organic diet.
Snowflake. Yes. Shut the fuck. It's prison, bitch. Hope you like prison food and penis.
Different color tie, still a snowflake.
But I don't think that lawyer or anyone is seriously thinks that Trump is going to pardon any of these guys. They just putting the call out there because what they want, their defense, this lawyer and many others that are representing these idiots, their defense is that my client is too stupid to be responsible for his own behavior, and it's the president that riled them up. And if it was a crime to be there and just demonstrate, and that's what you're charging them with, then I could agree with you. But when you get to the point where, like you said, Rich, like, you're making your own decisions at a certain point. The president didn't say, if you find a fire extinguisher, try and beat a cop over the head with it. Right? Those are decisions that people, regardless of what put them in that position, they made those choices, and they're going to have to live with the consequences of it.
No, he's absolutely responsible for inciting the violence. I'm not.
Yes.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not removing that from his onus. I'm just saying he ain't Dr. Mindbender. Okay, he didn't hypnotize fucking all these people and send them in there. But I mean,
but it shows you that you don't have to be Dr. Mindbender to thwart a democracy. And granted, it didn't stick. This wasn't a revolution, and if anything, it showed how resilient our democracy can be. But it's so easy to gum up the works with a little bit of disinformation here and just a little bit of gumming up the works of government over here. And you've got the recipe for disaster that we saw. You rile these idiots up and you tell these people, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. We just need like the normal police force on the Capitol.
Well, I mean, I can tell you that a week and a half out from the 6th, I was hearing about a friend of mine's coworkers who are extremely conservative. They were planning. They were like, we're going 6th DC. I mean, it was.
They were planning to go to demonstrate, or
yeah. I mean,
were they making specific?
No. There was. I mean, This was. I'm hearing this secondhand, but my buddy was like, "Yeah, apparently there's that march on DC on the 6th. That's going to be a lot more people than some people think. I think some people just assume that."
Wait, no, I'm sorry. The 6th? Or are you talking about coming up on the 20th for Inauguration Day?
The 6th, the day they stormed. Okay. Have fun storming the castle, but. Think they'll succeed? It'll take.
I remember May yelling that at us when I'd pick you up to come when we still come over in person and do the podcast.
But no, I mean, and so if these people had some inkling, okay, we're going to actually take time off from work, go to, and by the way, a good union auto worker job, go down, protest, then what the fuck is going on? You cocksuckers in the government for 20 years have been telling us you got to spy on us for our own fucking safety. Swing and a miss. How the fuck do you miss this? That's a batting practice fastball right down the middle of the plate. And
it was organized on social media. Was it hard to find? Tinfoil hat time. I don't give a fuck. I don't trust this government no more than I could pick up any of these fucking cocksucking motherfuckers and throw them. I don't give a shit if, you're crazy. Okay, good. I'll be over here with the crazy people. You be over there with the sane people having mostly peaceful riots. I'm done with you idiots. I'm done.
Right. Well,
fuck these motherfuckers. They use this shit. I'm not convinced that the government didn't just be like, let's stand down, let them fucking get in there, scare the people, and then we got an excuse to fucking pull back on the leash later on. Look what they did. We have to tighten security. It's for your own good.
I don't know about that, but it does frustrate me that the FBI has been talking for the last year about the rise of white supremacy and the dangerous extremist groups, and we just had right here in Michigan what seemed to be a very close call with our own governor, and yet, and again with all the spying that they have to do on us for our own safety, and then we hear after the fact about all these people who went there that we knew had potential for violence. These people had guns, they had training, a lot of cops involved in this. People who were very vocal online about their intentions, about revolution, about overthrowing the government, and our intelligence inside of our own country failed us completely. What is all this spying for if not to stop these people from reaching the Capitol, right? Let the people who just want to be idiots and never had any intention of starting anything, and even the people who, if none of the violence started, wouldn't have got swept up with it, right? Let them just be there and demonstrate and weed out the extremists before they ever get there. That's what should have happened in this case.
Well, to me, the biggest sin that Trump, besides inciting this shit with his, stand down but stand by. Like, who the fuck? First of all, that's not even the proper fucking terms. If you're going to try to act like you're some sort of fucking military guru, you're not even using the proper terms. You should sound like an idiot who's like
stand aside and stand over there.
I'm an Instagram model. Oh, really? Well, I'm a Marine on fucking Call of Duty, so I guess we're even here. Okay, so that's how Trump came off with that shit. Second of all, I think his biggest sin, besides inciting the shit, was this bullshit. You're going to pull your shit out, but you don't use it. We're only going to. This is the only time this will ever happen in this country. The next time, they will mow motherfuckers down with the flurry of buckshot. Mark my fucking words. This was a wasted opportunity because you don't pull your shit on the government unless you plan on using it. And those people were like, let's go. Yeah. Oh, shit, we're here. What do we do now?
Yeah.
Let's take some pictures. Let's take this podium. Let's pose in the fucking speaker of the House's fucking desk. What the... You're giving the shout-out photos?
They had no plan.
Stop taking the shout-out photos. This is your plan? This ain't a plan. This is a South Park episode.
Yeah, let's get them. We got through. Now what? Shit.
Well, the plan was that they would go and disrupt the process of government, and that would to give more time to have Trump and his cronies rig the election or rig the process of or stop the process of transfer of power. And that's the thing. There's no one's ever going to say coup out loud. It's just going to be there's going to be constant reasons, or this is if they succeeded on the 6th, we would have seen an escalating process of more demonstrations, more violence, so more reasons to institute martial law and more reasons not to transfer power over to another administration because it's just too chaotic right now, right? In the meantime, you continue to sow doubt with the election fraud and all that shit, and that's how you get your coup. And that was the plan. And so the plan for the people that went there intending to cause violence, intending to disrupt the process of government, they thought that they would be successful enough in that Trump would remain in power, and that they would be either pardoned or never investigated in the first place because they're quote-unquote patriots. That was the real plan.
You thought you were going to do...
poorly thought out plan.
You thought what you were going to do what Pearl Harbor and 9/11 couldn't do. What the fuck do you think you were going to do?
I mean, I understand.
The Pentagon's right up the road, right?
I know, right? And that's the other thing I love, that the legacy news media is pumping this bullshit in our head. This is one of the most protected buildings in our country. No, it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
You can suck my fucking ass. Try getting in to how about this? Try getting into the Empire State Building when they don't want you to. Bet you their security is better than the fucking Capitol building.
Try to get on the lawn of the White House.
I was really disappointed. I expected to see motherfuckers trapped under steel doors that had slammed down. This shit should close up like Fort Knox.
Well, this is what I'm saying.
But
tell me those National Treasure movies are a lie, Aaron?
You mean Hollywood exaggerates the truth? No, well, I never would have thought that.
No one's asking where Nick Cage was on the 6th. And, I shared a picture with you guys that showed him in the background and making off with the Declaration of Independence amongst all this chaos.
Yeah, he was smart enough not to stop and wave at the camera and pose. But no, I mean, it doesn't matter. That these people think what they thought was going to happen, because that was never going to happen. It's just not the way the world works. Mm-hmm. And I understand we took civics out of fucking school so we can continue to educate the population. And we have, social studies, which teaches us nothing about government.
Yeah.
But,
you get one class in 12th grade. Isn't that enough, Rich?
Here's 12 years, one class. Yeah. For one semester, half a year. If this went to the court, Now, the number, if I'm wrong on the number, fine. I'm not going to die on this hill over the number. Number I keep hearing is 63 different cases about this election being stolen.
Current count, yeah.
Okay. 63 times it went to court. 63 times it was thrown out of court.
No, I'm sorry, 62 times. There was one successful one that was actually in northern Michigan. It had something to do with, I can't remember, that they found a discrepancy of like less than 10 votes. There was one case where they actually won that had nothing to do with the presidential election.
Figures.
Yes.
So, once again, you show up, you disrupt, they're going to restore order. What happens when the order is restored? Business as usual. You've done nothing. You've accomplished nothing. All you've done is now, through your cock-teasing ways, okay, you've shown that, yeah, at one point, we probably could have overrun the fucking those people. We could have went in there and hung every member of fucking Congress if we wanted to.
Not anymore.
Not again. It ain't, never fucking. That was the best shot you ever had. You wanted 1776 Part 2. That was the best shot. You shot your shot. You completely missed the net.
Yeah. The goalie was pulled and you missed.
Yeah, you whiffed on an open net. Ain't ever happening again. And on top of that, don't be surprised when this is used as an excuse to snatch more rights from you. Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, then it shouldn't matter that we're spying on you and we're listening to this and because that's all these type of things ever accomplish is the government tightening its belt around our fucking necks even more. So thank you, cocksuckers. Thank you for burning down the country for what 6-7 months out of the fucking year total last year, and giving the government these like children who won't listen. We have to be more authoritarian. Really? And now the rest of us get to pay for what these fucking idiots did. And that's all there is to it. These people are not. How are they patriots?
I'm sorry. What? I didn't talk over you.
How are these people calling themselves patriots? You've weakened the country. You didn't strengthen shit. You weakened your own cause. That is the antithesis of bravery or a patriot. You've made us.
Yeah, and it wasn't even like the like I was saying earlier. There was no idea of instituting a new form of government, but neither was there talk about reinstituting democracy and strengthening it. Like if you are a patriot, if you love this country and you're willing to fight and die for it, then somebody that you believe to be credible convinces you that other people have cheated the system and screwed you out of your vote and are taking control of this country through non-democratic means, well, then it's by any means necessary time, right? So the behavior isn't really all that illogical. It's just the fact that it's all based on a steady diet of lies that puts you in this situation.
Well, what revolution in history has ever happened to keep somebody in power? We're going to revolt to keep you in power.
Yeah. But that's me giving as much grace as I can to any of these fools, giving them the best possible scenario in which they were possibly not, that maybe they are victims in this, right? But that's not even, that would be a rarity amongst these idiots. Most of these people are just frustrated and they don't even know why.
Should have shown up January 4th, not January 6th.
Why the 4th?
No, January. Those are the runoffs. Well, yeah. Well, November 3rd too. But
yeah.
Well, I mean, you can't do much for voting in Georgia if you don't live in Georgia. I mean, that was kind of a hey, 1 out of 50. It's on you guys. You know what I'm saying?
I just wonder if Trump realizes he handed the Democrats that runoff.
Dude, he mishandled. I don't know how he has the rabid cult following he has, and he dropped the ball as much as he did. Guys, if he'd have just fucking decriminalized weed at the federal level, he'd have probably won the election. That'd have probably fucking put enough fucking, people who either A, don't usually vote, go out and be like, well, here's the president that's trying to fucking get it, so I can smoke weed and run a weed shop and put my money in the bank finally. Money talks, bullshit walks. I mean, there's a bunch of things he could have done that he just didn't do. I mean, we all know he loves to rule by executive order, by the stroke of the pen. He could have fucking had $2,000 sent out. I mean, Biden used it as a fucking, hey, if we get a big win in Georgia, everybody gets $2,000. And of course, old Uncle Joe had to fucking walk that back because they did get the fucking big win. He's like, well, we're going to give you a $1,400 check to supplement the $600 check. You cocksucker. That's not what you said. And you know what? We're going to let you get away with it because that's what we do in this fucking country.
$2,000 collectively, Rich.
We're fucking pussies. We let this shit happen.
Rich, that actually made sense the way that rolled out because they were shooting for $2,000, right? They only got $600, and then they promised to make up the rest of it on the next bill. His direct quote was, "We win in Georgia, $2,000 checks go out." Okay,
Now, once again, he was, what do you call it?
Biden.
Doing like a, you know what I'm saying? Talking to different press and shit like that. So who knows what the fuck? And on top of that, it's Biden, man. I mean, if he says something, I'm sure his handlers are on like just off camera going, "Oh God, no.
Anytime Biden proposes any kind of policy, everyone's like, "What did Kamala say?"
Hey, it's President Grandpa. That's what I'm going to call him, President Grandpa.
Yeah, it's like you go and see your senile old relative in the nursing home, and they're telling you all these crazy stories about shit that supposedly happened to them in the last month, and you're looking over at their caretaker, and they're just shaking their head like, no. None of that shit happened.
Just give him pudding cup every day at noon.
Yeah.
It's like my grandfather.
No, it's not 2,000. No, it's only going to be 1,400. No, sorry.
I want to know, are we going to
get... We'd take him out to dinner, and and he had Alzheimer's, and he would like a little kid, he'd pull at the waitress and go, "They don't feed me." And he's got a fucking plate of food in front of him, and she's like, "Really? That's so sad, honey. I'm sorry. You might want to eat. Your food's getting cold." Okay. And it's like this is our president now.
I want to meet corn pop.
So now that we feel like we understand what happened exactly on the 6th and what type of potential there is for that to still happen, which is, I think, some. What are the I mean, we've got this is coming out.
We're recording on the 16th.
We're just going to drop this today, then, right? I can have this out by tonight. So we have, 4 more days?
Yeah.
All right. I mean, the My Pillow guy yesterday was seen at the White House, and he had notes with him. And somebody got a picture of him carrying those notes, and there was some scary stuff in there. Now, the My Pillow guy is a total wacko. And
wait, what was on the notes?
Well, you know what? Actually, let me see if I can pull it up real quick because
I'm trying to find this. I'm sure his legal name isn't the My Pillow guy. So.
Yeah, Mike Lindell, is that his name? I think.
Yes, that sounds like I've heard it a million times on commercials.
Yeah. So somebody put a transcript on here, and you can't see all of the notes. So I'll just say now as acting national security. So he's saying, and now is in capital letters. So. He's recommending somebody be put in as acting national security chief. I would imagine that's how that sentence is finished. I don't know how many national security positions there are, but basically he's saying, get your cronies in the NSA.
And apparently he also said something. He had his notes were visible as he visited the West Wing on Friday, revealed a suggestion to replace the current CIA director with the current acting chief of staff at the Pentagon.
This is the sentence. Oh, again, this is only partial, but martial law, if necessary, upon the first hint of any.
And then that's all you could see, probably.
That's all you can see. No.
Well,
also,
I just wonder.
Sidney Powell, Bill Olson, Kurt Olson, let's see, Kash Patel to CIA acting. So he's telling him to put another crony in as head of the CIA. Up foreign interference in the election. I don't know if that's saying like you should up rhetoric about it because there's, make it clear this is China/Iran.
Yeah, I got it.
He's giving him advice on how to further push disinformation on what happened in the election and how to align himself to institute martial law and remain in power. Now, again, this is the MyPillow guy. He's crazy. He has a lot of money, and he's had the president's ear before. But how much of that actually gets through, and how much can, there's a lot of ifs there.
Well, the CNN headline says MyPillow CEO hints at scrapped plan to replace CIA director with Trump loyalist.
And in Vox, of course, why the MyPillow guy was at the White House with notes about martial law.
And they got a picture of him with a cell phone.
Peeping around the corner, looking all creepy. Yeah. What are you wearing? What's your favorite scary movie, Sydney?
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Curated by Kohl's latest collection is now available in select stores and at Kohls.com. For a limited time, shop unexpected new favorites like reusable drinkware from Corksicle and fun arts and crafts from UV. Warmy's heatable plush toys are perfect for little ones. Homesick handcrafted candles are a great gift to make anyone feel at home. And who doesn't love sweet treats from Candy Club? Shop Curated by Kohl's for these digital need-to-know brands and more. Tap the banner now or visit Kohls.com.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
It's clearance season at Target. Save up to 70% off thousands of amazing finds like sweaters, sleepwear, outerwear, and shoes for the entire family. So shop the best clearance deals at Target, where low prices and great deals make it easy to save.
ChristopherMedia.net. Unregimented.
We'd have to be fools if we didn't think that Trump was considering any of this shit. Because he's now, if he was in legal jeopardy before, he is now in more severe legal jeopardy in ways that he can't pardon himself out of.
I think Mike Pence has shown us over the last year he's the adult in the room.
He's the politician. So right there, he plays the game more than Trump. Trump doesn't play the game. In fact, Trump just comes in and invents the game and says, everybody start playing my game.
Adults in the room, I don't know.
The politician in the room.
He's going to do...
An adult would have an apology. An adult would have remorse.
That's your opinion. Now, but I'm saying as far as how the government works, Mike Pence is going to do the...
No, that's not really my opinion. He's going to do how adults act.
Okay, great. He's going to do the traditional thing. He's not going to break protocol. He's Captain America.
No, he's going to save his own ass, which is now not aligned with saving Trump's ass. The two were linked together until recently, and now Trump severed that connection.
Yeah,
so now
saving his own ass is going to be making sure everything goes off with how it's supposed to. Okay,
I mean, I agree with you that could result in some positive things. Yeah, certainly if there's any chance of pushing back against Trump against any of these possible things that we're talking about, instituting martial law, Pence would be the first line of defense on that. It doesn't leave me with, I don't think that, I don't have a high confidence that he would actually stand up to Trump, that he would invoke the 25th or anything like that.
He's a politician. He's going to side with the GOP. He's going to side with the party. He's not a Trump loyalist. He's not like these fucking people who still are carrying Trump's water.
Well, yeah, and look,
there's a clear separation.
The half dozen that are left.
Pence is not an adult. He's a fucking toady, and he's looked to Trump for all of his fucking moves over the last 4 years, and now that he's left out in the wind, he's looking to fucking McConnell. He ain't.
Oh, absolutely. They're all
has
spineless.
No fucking idea. He's a fucking moron.
First of all, how many people in Congress do you think are former military? I mean, I'd say it's like,
it's
a good
high,
number.
It seems.
Yeah, a good number.
In the House, more so, yeah. I mean, you have career politicians in the Senate, but yeah, getting a having a military background will definitely get you a House seat if you want it.
Yeah. But what are they now? It doesn't matter they're former military. It doesn't matter that we've pumped millions of dollars into training them to survive and kill if needed. Mm-hmm. They turn into politicians when the shit hits the fan. Okay, rush us off to safety. These are all spineless people. That's why first of all, Trump's the biggest spineless fuck I've ever seen in my life. Chicken shit motherfucker, front running bastard. But
he didn't even march with those people.
No. And the only time he wants to throw his hat in the ring is when fucking it's a winner and it's in the lead. And then he pulls his hat out the minute it loses the lead because, well, that's too much like work. And I'm Trump. I don't work. I have people who work for me.
Yeah, I don't pull the wagon. I hitch my shit to theirs.
But I mean, these are spineless politicians. Of course, if Trump thought he was going to come in and rebrand the Republican Party from here on out in perpetuity as the party of Trump, the business end of his crack pipe is hot to the touch. That party was there before you. It'll be there after you. That's what party loyalists do. They prop the party up above everything else. And when Trump goes and his cult of personality goes with him, I mean, because the man's close to 80, he ain't going to live forever. Another 10 years, I'd be shocked. So if he drops dead in the next 10 years, what? The Republican Party is just going to continue to be the party of Trump? Fuck no. And I'm sorry, his daughter and his sons ain't taking over. When have you ever heard them speak that they even could motivate anybody to do anything? I mean, seriously.
Junior's got some fans.
Who does?
Really?
Junior.
Junior has some fans, yeah. But
if he's got like 20% of what his dad's got, that ain't shit. I mean, that's a lot of, it's a lot of people. It's all relative, but that ain't shit. Ain't going to get him elected.
Look, Hunter Biden had some fans too, but it wasn't because he was Hunter Biden.
I mean, if we're talking like social media fans, yeah, there's definitely a stop and slow down and watch the car crash type.
Like fans more so in like people with interest in gaining power. So like, can you get me in touch with your dad? That type of fan.
So he's AJ Soprano. He's absolutely useless, and people just use him to get to his father.
Exactly.
Oh man!
And if he ever gets to be president, he's going to end his press conferences with "meetings over."
But no, man. I mean, look, folks are politicians. Now do you see why I'm like, what is this fascination with propping these people up and making them rock stars and movie stars? They're human beings who bullshitted their way into a position of power and are, for the most part, hoping they're doing the right thing. Like, now, the right thing is based on your moral compass, and that's whatever true north is. There is no true north anymore because everything's up for debate. Everything's a fucking, this is social construct. Well, if everything's social construct, then nothing matters. So let's all fucking take a fucking big drink of bleach and get it over with.
Well, I was watching. Katie Couric was on Bill Maher's show last night, and they were talking about what do we do with disinformation and social media, and she's like just spitballing, but she's like there should be like a board that certifies what is true, and Barr's like, how could we ever agree on a group of people that would be able to decide anything like that?
Let me put it to you this way. I've been trying to get back into playing Shadowrun, the pen and paper role playing game. I can't get a consensus online with people about which edition is best. Again, we're gonna get a consensus of a group of people that's just gonna go, well, this is the truth, and everybody in this country is just gonna go, oh, okay.
I don't know, Katie. You can maybe legislate it.
Well, I mean, just like your role-playing game, there's no ultimate truth to which one is the best. There's obviously a lot of opinion in that. I'm sure there's some numbers that you could look at. You could determine based on sales or users or something like that, and ultimately come up with this seems to be the empirical best version. according to most of the people, and that's kind of how you run a democracy. And just like democracy is like a role-playing game in that you don't have one version of it. You don't have a set version of it. It is constantly being updated, and it's a constant conversation. So there's no ultimate empirical truth of democracy. It's that you can't actually run a democracy if you can't agree on the truths of the facts that you need to run a democracy. The raw numbers of
hasn't a large portion, or not a large portion, but a good portion of this country over the last year or so been protesting in the streets, trying to tear down the last fucking truths the government set up? I mean, isn't that what this was about? Tearing down the old structure? No, we don't want to do it your way. We don't appreciate your traditions and the things that you hold sacred. We want to piss and shit on them and make our own stuff. So how great is it if the government goes, we figured it out, this is the truth. It's the truth for the next 5 years or until the election cycle's up. Wait, what are we talking about here? You can't have people agree on what color a dress is online. Stop trying to get everybody to agree and understand that we're all going to disagree and find a way to be agreeably disagreeable. Because if not...
Well, that is the process of democracy, right?
But we don't
all agree, but the best we can do is go with the majority.
Well, that's the thing, is we started trying to make everybody happy.
And knowing that is not a perfect process, we also make, built into that the process of change. If a year, 5 years down the line, we find that this law is being unfair to certain parts of the population, we can adjust that.
We have lost sight of the fact that sometimes there's going to be some things that everyone doesn't agree with. Like the last 10 years, we've gone into this, you have to make everybody happy mode, and it's not feasible.
Oh, well, it's
right. No, the trying to appeal to every last person, this idea that you can't have anything close to a political view if you are a business or related to a business in any way, because then you've just quote unquote alienated half of your audience. Well, okay, but you have to. I think, and maybe you don't. I was going to say something completely foolish. That you don't have to have a product or a business that you have to stand behind, but most people do, right? Most people have consciences. Most people have an idea of just a moral compass, right? They're not just going to spout off lies because it's to their advantage. And
you've been on social media, right? You sure about that statement?
No, I think Aaron, Chris, I know you're trying to make a point, but I think he's right. People on social media are the bullshit loudmouth liars that speak up. Most people keep their mouth shut and they aren't pumping bullshit into the fucking social media either. It's the loudmouth assholes who spread this shit. They're the fucking problem. Yeah. And when all you see is them because they're the loudest, it feels like, oh, this is everybody. It's really not. That's the only thing that gives me hope about this shit.
So it's like if Doritos was trying to crowdsource a new flavor and there was a strong group of 12 cannibals that were like, human flesh Doritos would be the best.
Led by Armie Hammer.
Yeah, exactly.
We got to talk about that. That's some next level fucking fetish shit.
and so now Doritos is seriously considering this because they don't want to piss off the cannibal community. I mean, this is it's no way to run anything, a government, a business, a relationship.
We do that now.
I know. That's what I'm saying is that's most people aren't crazy. Most people aren't. I don't know.
I'm stealing something from Bill Maher. New rule. Not everybody needs a community. If you're a cannibal, you don't need a community. If you're a necrophiliac, you don't need a community. I don't care if it's online or not. You don't need one. So fuck this community shit of every weird little sexual thing I like, I got a community. No, you got fellow fucking perverts you found online. That's what the fuck you got. It's not a community, trust me. Mm-hmm. There's no watch being set up, let's put it that way. But
But you know,
but that's the only thing that's giving me hope through this whole fucking thing is that I realize these are the extreme examples of the most extreme people. To fucking take time off from work and travel during a pandemic, to go fucking yell and scream in the middle of 5,000-6,000 people, you're an extremist. Yeah, you're a radical. And by the way, extremist and radical, it's just like the term propaganda. It's not good nor bad on its own. It depends on the context.
Well, it's part of what I love about human nature is that we want to believe that there's a chance for reform. You know, there's some things that are just so vile to us that we're just like, oh, that person's broken, just fucking fry him and forget about him. But, you know, maybe Armie Hammer is a person who's confused and needs some help. You know, maybe he's had some sort of abuse that's led him down this path, or I don't know.
You know what? Here's the deal.
It's finding that balance,
therapy,
right?
Man, that's not my
place.
It's
fucking
not
weirdo.
Our place.
Oh, sure, yeah. I'm with you on that.
Is that card still in the deck? Maybe he's just a fucking weirdo.
Yeah, absolutely right. And there's a lot of this in the discourse in the political discourse now too. Like, what do we do with all these rabid Trump supporters? Like, they've been fed a pack of lies. They are angry, and they're not just going away. So, do we alienate them? Do we cut them out? Do we get them fired from their jobs for being at the Capitol on the 6th? Do we, do people involved with this get just basically just cut off from society, business dealings, job opportunities, losing family members, all of this shit, and then we just alienate them more and make them more extremist, right? Or do we try and bring them into the fold? Do we hope that there's reform for these people, that we can talk to them and maybe some of this shit gets through?
The problem is if these people are willing to accept Donald Trump's word that the election was rigged or stolen or what the fuck ever, based solely on his word, no evidence, you're not dealing with a rational human being. You're now dealing with...
This is Son of Sam shit. I mean, you may as well tell me your dog told you to do it.
Well, you're dealing with an ideal, like a fundamentalist Christian or an ideologue.
Your TV basically your phone basically told you to go and do this. Like, the president doesn't speak to you directly. A known liar through a television set or phone told you to do this. That's not strong. That person is not strong mentally.
No, and on top of that, I'm so fucking sick of the self-righteous horse shit I hear from people. Well, I'm like, as a Christian, how can you even fucking tolerate Donald Trump? Well, Christians aren't perfect; they're forgiven. Oh, how come you were not so quick to forgive anybody who's got a D by their name? But he can literally lie to you, cheat on his pregnant wife with a porn star, pay her off, basically hire a really expensive hooker is what he did. I mean, commit fraud, lie in business, beg, borrow, steal as much money as he can. It seems to me this guy pretty much wallows in sin and never asks for forgiveness. Yet they'll fucking throw that card out there. I'm over it. I'm done with it.
Well, that's why Christianity has remained the dominant religion of the land, is because it's like the democracy of religions. You can morph it into whatever you want. You can make your own version of Christianity.
All you have to do is say you're sorry. It's in the book.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah.
And it allows you to draw new moral lines of, like, it doesn't matter. Like, that person can be a saint and I can beat my wife. But if I repent and he is an atheist, then I'm the better person. I get to go to heaven. He gets to go to hell.
And then you have religions like the Jews who just go, we don't want you. We're full.
It's all living for a maybe.
Which kind of it removes morality from behavior at all. Like, morality then is your beliefs. If you believe things like taking my money that I pay in taxes and redistributing it to people who I don't agree with politically, well, then that's evil.
Well, here's where I
morality's still there. You just self-flagellate.
Here's where I agree with Russ Cole from the first season of True Detective. If a person requires a promise of just a blissful afterlife to be a good person, that person was a piece of shit all along. Okay, good people don't need to be bribed to be good. Don't need to be fucking threatened to be good. All right, good people do shit because they just know. I do this, I feel like shit. I feel guilty. Now, if you don't, oh, congrats, you're a sociopath or a psychopath. We have needs for you in the human fucking species, but not as a leader, not as a president.
Yeah, when people do, and not even like talking about good people or bad people. When people do good things, they do them on instinct. And when people do bad things, it's when their brain allows them to use logic to override their instinct and make excuses for behavior.
Well, this is
generally the bad thing's always usually the easiest too.
This is the problem with dealing with people who have these cult-like mentalities. And just as much as I pointed to the fucking woke flakes having a cult-like mentality, oh, you maggots, don't fucking think you're off the hook. You fuckers, you are example 1A in the dictionary of fucking cult.
Yep.
And I hate to say it, but sometimes you got to prune. You know? Sometimes you got to get rid of the dead weight. And if these people fucking are that far gone, I don't think we're losing a cure for cancer or AIDS if we fucking just go, well, then you enjoy living in the fucking 1950s. Because that's what we got right now. We have two very loud, small groups. One who wants to fucking take 250 years of building this country and try to do what every fucking country who's tried communism has tried and failed to do. They think they got the magic ingredient to make it work this time. Then you got the fucking people on the right who are dreaming of a Norman Rockwell world which never really existed. It's fucking pop. It's pop culture. You're pining away over a fucking movie.
Rich,
okay?
We're going to get our wish soon. It's the Coke and Pepsi are going to go away. Aaron and I were talking about this the other day. I see 4 parties coming. I see splinters coming on each side where the extremists will go.
Good.
I see that less now. I know we did have this conversation the other day and we were in agreement. I'm less so on that page now. I think that you'll see stronger splinter groups, more like what we had with a party like the Green Party, only they could actually get 10% of the vote and then be able to steer the Democratic Party with that 10%. Not control it, but get some of their policies instituted based on, hey, we could, offer you some of our 10% to get you over the hump.
Good old extortion.
And so I don't think you would ever I think a 4-party system would be more stable for our democracy in the long term. But what you're really going to see is a kind of a 4-party system, a shadow 4-party system where there'll be some extremist version of the right wing. The hardcore Trump supporters are going to splinter off from the Republicans, but have enough power to say, hey, we want you to finish building the border wall or something like that, and be able to get their way based on we can combine our forces.
The silver lining is the nuts on each side will clearly let us know where they're at now.
Well, the nuts are the ones that are going to say we're the true Republican or Democratic Party. I think what you're really going to see is you're going to see the quote-unquote neo-libs and neo-cons and the more culture war type Republicans and Democrats. That's where the split's going to be, I think.
Well,
I can see that because it's already happened in the Democratic Party.
Yeah,
the progressives are not fans of the neo-libs at all.
And that's something that I haven't changed my mind on because Chris and I were talking about this too the other day. If there was ever a more perfect storm for the splintering of the Democratic Party, it's these circumstances right now, having all the power. Everyone's going to be trying to steer the party in their direction. And if AOC doesn't get her way on some stuff, she might try to,
Jared come out already talking shit. She doesn't think Biden's plan goes far enough. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's one day old.
Right. It's better than Marjorie Taylor Greene, right? She's going to impeach on his second day.
Isn't she making her list of people who need to go to re-education camp anyways?
Yeah, her and Joe McCarthy should get together, compare lists.
Wait, AOC or MTJ?
AOC.
Okay.
Yeah, we need a list of anybody who supported Trump, and we need to re-educate those people. And I'm like, they're not even fucking hiding it anymore, folks. There you go. Yeah. Oh, you fucking people worried about this shit are stupid. There's your elected official saying it.
Nobody in any position of power should ever use the word re-educate. First of all, it's an unnecessary word because the word educate exists and is right there. You just lop off the re, and it takes away all that negative connotation of brainwashing and just, and also implies something that is very true. The people that you're talking about are uneducated. They're not poorly educated. They're just uneducated.
Well, look, there's ignorant people who just don't know better, never been shown another way, and yeah, who knows what would happen if you showed them another way. And then there's people who are just, like we said, delusional. People who, my dog told me to go kill somebody. You can't reason with that. Those people are too far gone. But the problem isn't just ignorance. The problem is proud of that ignorance. Like, I don't know that. So why are you yelling that from the fucking? You're proclaiming your ignorance with an exclamation point. Okay.
Well, right.
I don't understand.
The way that elevates the person proclaiming it is because they don't know that because that thing is either beneath them or just it's unnecessary, right? So much of progress is like, I don't know it because I don't care to. I mean, it's the same reason why your grandpa would fuck up the name of your favorite band because he doesn't fucking care ultimately, and he's fucking with you.
But have we ever thought to ask the question, how do these people get like this? They just wake up and we're like that.
Yeah, dude.
Right, but
it's not even fucking. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think it's not like people turn into this, right? They just are. I think if you don't give a person proper direction, information, education, whatever it is, the tools that they just need to operate in society, then they're just going to be like that. But it's not like this is a transformation, like it's a plague that could hit any one of us. I could wake up and be an extremist.
How did they get this way? There's a lot of answers to that question, and a lot of them we don't want to go down as a society. We don't want to go down the road we need to go down. I mean, let's start with this. You have an education that varies wildly from zip code to zip code. You have people being pushed through school systems, and the school systems being used as basically indoctrination centers, and that's about it. I mean, your kids come out, what do they fucking know that they can use in the real world with a public school education? They don't show you how to do taxes. They don't show you how to balance a fucking checkbook. They don't show you how to fucking do a budget. Yeah, they don't give you life skills. They indoctrinate you into a certain way of thinking. By the way, a very liberal way of thinking. And then if you are lucky enough to go to college,
you're getting your education in.
Well, see, no, it's pretty much across the board, man, because now that's why you got a lot of these homeschool motherfuckers, because they're like, I'm going to teach my kid about God. Okay, well, you teach him about God, but God ain't going to pay the bills. So last time I checked,
unless you're really charismatic.
Well, unless you're Joel Osteen, yeah. But yeah,
God damn it. Let's turn an old phrase sideways. Pray in one hand, shit in the other. See which one fills up first.
How about tithe in one hand, shit in the other? See which one fills up first. That tithing plate, yeah, that'll be full first. But no, I've cashed a lot of paychecks. None of them's ever been made out to me from God. So I need to.
First National Bank of Heaven wasn't drawn on that.
I mean, then you have the fact that you just have. Anybody can have kids. I mean, you need a fucking license to get behind the fucking wheel. Yet you can shit out little wet brain miracles all over trailer parks. So, I mean, that's not helping. And yeah, Idiocracy, it is kind of a documentary because the smartest people I know are the people who usually don't breed or breed once and that's it. They ain't having 8, 9 fucking kids. You know what I'm saying? To go past a middle school, throw a rock and hit one of their children. You know, those are
like. I don't want to control the way a population breeds because that's definitely a dark path to go down.
No, but what I'm saying is,
but maybe like a program, an outreach program, we could get smart people to mate with dumb people.
So we just get
because that's the
average
problem.
people.
The smart people are mating with smart people, and the dumb people are mating with dumb people. So the dumber getting dumber, and the smarter getting smarter.
I volunteer to check how dumb Jennifer Aniston is. I will check her over and over and over again. And if she's dumb, I will breed with her. I will take the hit for humanity. Christ died for your sins. I'm willing to throw my dick on the crap table just to get a better human around, you know. But no, but do you see what I'm saying? What did I say?
The problem is that rich divorced men aren't having kids with their second wives. That's what they need to do. That would solve this problem. If they would just knock up the second wife, the dumber one.
How about you just stay single until you just fucking have enough money to where you can just buy a trophy wife that just does what you want, or a trophy husband that just does what you want, and just sit there and look pretty. Yes, dear. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what? Jennifer Granholm? She had her fucking trophy, her stud muffin, her first husband or whatever. You know, hey, by the way, I volunteer to be a kept man. Any women out there? Just so you know. I'm mostly house trained, and only get drunk and pass out and half naked in the bathroom on my birthday. So, promise.
Yeah, when she delivered the big news that she was going to the Capitol, he's like, where do I store my jet ski?
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor, you get someone who understands there's an art to listening and can provide small business solutions that make you feel truly heard. For solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
ChristopherMedia.net. Unregimented.
Before I said what I said there's a lot of answers to that question, and a lot of them go down roads we don't want to go down. And lo and behold, the second point I bring up, you're like, I don't want to go down that road because that leads to some dark places. Yes. It absolutely does. Unfortunately, I think people don't understand that's, and for most of recorded history, it hasn't been this way. Oh, you could have kids, but if someone in power or in control over you didn't want you to have it, they just kill your kid. Well, we don't really do that much anymore. Well, once they're born, because once they're born, they're on their own. But when they're in the belly, you got to protect that sacred life. But what do you think? So what do these people think is going to fucking happen? I mean, do you not understand that if you I hear this constant barrage and drumbeat now from people. We need more government. We need government to help us. Help us. And I agree with this. If the government, this pandemic happens, whatever. Obviously, no one's ever going to fucking answer for what happened. We're never going to know exactly how it fucking. If it was someone eating a bat, if it was fucking helped along by man and science, we won't know.
I thought someone fucked a pangolin.
But we can't even like be real about the shit and talk about it. I don't know. I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought there. It's I keep hearing this drumbeat. We need more government. Need more government. Need more government. Okay, more government means they're going to take more power from you. And nobody laughs harder at the thought of having no freedom than someone who's always had freedom. When you haven't had your freedom taken from you, when you haven't been locked up, haven't seen the sun for 3 fucking months, literally, okay? It ain't a joke to you anymore. And these people are just, we need more government. We need more government.
Yeah. There's a segment of the population in Miami that might
how's
be
it going to help? Okay, and if there's a fair trade-off, I'm all for it. We needed to have a lockdown to stomp the curve, whatever the fuck, until we could come up with a vaccine. It looks like we've got a vaccine. In fact, the vaccine seems to be working better than they thought because it even fucking has kept people from getting the super COVID that mutated.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, but you can't do that and not give people you're taking away people's ability to make a living and survive. You have to give them something. And I'm sorry, but a $1,200 check and 9 months later, a $600 check ain't it.
Certainly not. Covered. But this, these battle lines of big government versus small government that, seems like we've been arguing about our whole lives. It's completely bullshit.
I'm not even arguing about big or small. I want efficient, effective government. Yeah. That's what I want. Then I'll worry about the size. Right now, the size is part of the problem because if you got 100 people and 99 of them are incompetent, well, that's kind of a problem. And that's what the fuck we have right now. Right now, I don't know how it is in other sides. Well, no, I take that back. I have friends in family in Tennessee. They didn't even have a hiccup in their fucking their pandemic unemployment relief. Meanwhile, 600,000 people are sitting with no checks for the last 3 weeks from the state of Michigan because we have a governor who's going, I don't know what to do until the federal government tells me what to do. Bullshit, bitch. Bullshit. You were making moves all year long, thumbing your nose at the federal government, a.k.a. Trump. Now all of a sudden you don't know what to do because you're waiting for your master and fucking in wait. Your master in waiting in Washington to tell you. I'm not buying it.
By the way, she was nominated to be the vice chair of the DNC.
And I'd just like to say,
she got her prize.
All that money that the federal government set aside for states to help their people with the pandemic aid, it's already here. Why is it not in the people's hands? But it's in the politicians' hands. And what you want to bet they get their fucking their cut before they fucking send it down the scraps for the rest of us? Yeah, it's horse shit.
I have to wait on my stimulus.
You too?
I was one of the people where they gave it to the wrong account. And I got an email from the company where I do my taxes through, like, yeah, they said that they gave us the money, then they took it back, and now they're not going to give it the money again until February 1st. So I got that going for me. Oh yeah, and I'm going on a month of waiting for my unemployment claim to be reopened. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the government right now.
But see, well, once again, like I said, and Chris, you and I have talked about this. I'm not saying we shouldn't have had the lockdown and the blah 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 and the stuff we've done. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, if you're going to take our ability to fucking provide for ourselves away from us, you have to give us something else.
You better start handing out cash.
And I'm sorry, that's not socialism. That's just common sense, because if not, we will fucking, when people start going hungry, the people in power, look out.
Because we're going to start looking at you going, hey, you still got your job. What the fuck?
It's like the government came in and said, hey, your field is ridden with some sort of plague. We have to burn it down in order to make sure that shit doesn't spread. And then the person goes, okay, that's cool, but what do I eat? Not my problem.
Yeah, they even give you a paycheck if they take your house for eminent domain.
Yeah. I said it in the chat. I'll say it here. If you're a fan of socialism, take a good look at that $600 check. That's the government thinking it knows what's best for you.
And it's amazing that, here we sit 4 days away from Biden being inaugurated as president, and the only candidate that ran for president this last election cycle who talked about UBI and how we are just one major catastrophe away from needing it almost, and that's Andrew Yang, and he's been buried. Well, now he's the butt of jokes because apparently he's in a run for mayor of New York. So, of course, the slander machines have come out, and I'm sure they're going to dig up something on him. He likes pregnant fat bitches or something, and, of course, he'll have to be canceled, and that'll be the end of him. But once again, we had a candidate speaking to these issues. Everybody laughed. Ha, 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 that UBI stuff. Get out of here. Boy, that cough ain't going away, man. I think I should go to the doctor. Oh, it's a pandemic? Here's $1,800. Now, shut up. Get the fuck out of my face, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, efficient government. It's not that hard. It really isn't. But we don't care about efficient government. We care about fucking. That's what irritates me. These Trump supporters, I don't think most of them, because I've talked to some of these people, like in person, face to face. I don't think they care about Trump being in office as much as they care about owning the libs, drinking your liberal tears, all that bullshit. And it's the same for the fucking people on the left. Like, that's right, not, Biden's your president, like it or not. Yeah, I've now watched both sides just pass each other as they just go, okay, I'm going to go to this side now, and I'm going to say all the shit you've been saying for 4 years, and I'm going to do this. And it's a never-ending cycle of bullshit. Why aren't we standing up going, can both of y'all shut up?
Yeah, I find it ironic, some of the voices calling for the rule of law in the last 10 days.
Yeah, well, yeah. And that's just, I'm over that shit. And I'm over the fucking, well, we're all hypocrites to a certain extent. Oh, okay. And when you shoot a gun, you pull trigger, you go burr. What are you, an idiot? I'm tired of that. That's not a fucking excuse. That's not a fucking get out of jail free card. Because a flaw in human personalities. Yeah, we're hypocrites about some shit. But at the same time, what's getting done about it? Nothing. What are we doing? Nothing. What has this bullshit that happened at the Capitol really taught us? What have we taken from this? I'm being dead serious. It's not a rhetorical question.
Don't believe idiots.
I mean, security isn't as tight as we think. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is, you listen to NPR and it's like, oh, you mean the propaganda wing of the Democratic Party? And then you listen to fucking Fox and they make it, well, that's not fair. To be fair, what I've heard of Fox has called these people out. It's the Blaze and the fucking the even more far right. Jesus Christ, these people have drugged the Republican Party just as these people on the left drag the party further into this fucking identity politics horse shit nonsense that does nothing but divide us and set people at each other's necks. These Republicans have drugged the Republican Party further right because now Fox News is like CNN to them. Am I the only one that remembers 6 months ago when Fox News was the only people that told the truth according to these same people?
Yeah, now we got OANN and Newsmax.
And, why? Why? Because, well, he incited violence and blah, 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 and this and that and this. Is anything Trump done really in the last month been that much more fucking different than what he's done the previous 4 years? The people were just motivated to go do something about it. He's used this type of language for 4 years. This is nothing new. It's just he lost, and people are pissed because they didn't get their fucking way.
Yeah. Now we just throw temper tantrums.
And I mean, legit things and legit questions and concerns get lost in the fucking shuffle with this shit. I mean, Jesus Christ, we have a mayor who just got charged in the Flint water scandal. I mean, they could have charged him with fucking manslaughter, and they didn't. I don't know why, besides he's a politician. And I think the max that his sentence would carry would be like a year in prison.
Snyder? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Misdemeanors, $1,000 fine, or up to a year in jail.
Ooh. Yeah, there's no way he's going to jail. But there were people that were charged with manslaughter in that.
And he should have been fucking one of them. If he knew and allowed it to happen as a politician, yeah, sorry, you signed on for the job.
I agree.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, first of all, 6 fucking years to get clean water in Flint, ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. And by the way, in those 6 years, how many fucking Amazon super distribution centers have opened up? So somebody's getting kicked back because those fucking things are popping up like goddamn fucking Bank of America's on every corner.
Well, no, that's the difference between private enterprise and the government, right? Private enterprise has motivation to get the job done quickly and efficiently so they can start recouping their investment that they just made. We just spent a whole bunch on construction and a building and employ. They want to make their money back. Government don't got to do shit. You know it's going to be paid for. You can do it. Take your time. The gravy train's going to keep rolling. The government's funding this. Why do you think road construction takes so long?
Yeah, and if you fuck it up, That's okay. They're going to give you the contract next year, and you can do it again.
We laid the wrong concrete for 5 miles. We'll just do it again and keep getting paid. The project will take 6 months longer than it's supposed to. Doesn't matter, because the government gravy train is just going to keep rolling into our pockets.
And that's one of the best things that the Trump presidency has done for us, is revealed that we have very few ways of actually holding our government accountable and the politicians who run it.
And that they now know it for sure.
Yes.
For sure. Because our last resort of using force, like I said, you went out here and you fucking you half-stepped, and you can't half-step when it comes to the government and this type of shit. We will not get this opportunity again. And by the way, for everyone sitting around going, these insurrectionists and attempted coup, and they're horrible people. I remember not too long ago, y'all wanted to overthrow the government. Y'all just didn't march on Washington. And if you did, here's the bitch of it. If the motherfuckers that took over CHOP or Chaz or whatever it was called had marched on Washington, they might still be there. Ironically, they were the ones who actually were the true insurrectionists and set up shit and just were like, we're our own country. I mean, they did it the right way. They got in there. They didn't start taking shout-out photos. They built a wall and got security.
To be fair, though, they did try to start one in D.C., and the D.C. police fucking real quick went, nope.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, it was for like 3 days. They tried to start an autonomous zone in D.C., and the D.C. police fucking snuffed that shit out real quick.
They're like, no, not on our watch. Like, we got enough bullshit. Well, that's the weird part, man, is that I've been through D.C. a bunch of times. Granted, never during the lead up to an inauguration, but watching the news, man, it's like a fucking ghost town. They have shut that entire fucking city down. There are like, they erected like 10-foot, 12-foot tall fucking fences and shit. Like, you can't see through them, can't see over them. If you're media, you have to have a pass and be escorted by police.
Hey, and all of a sudden the National Guard's welcome.
I mean,
what do we hear this summer? We don't need the National. That's it.
That's because we took the fight to their fucking cathedral. Let's be honest. It came to their doorstep. And like the chicken shits they are, they ran and hid behind other people who they pay a pittance compared to what they get made to protect their lives. They're chicken shits. Now, I'm not saying all the politicians are. I'm sure there was some that was like, let me out there. I'll smack the shit out these motherfuckers. I'm sure there was one or two. So I ain't talking about them. But for the vast majority, ran like the chicken shits they are. These are not people to be held in high esteem. These are cowards. I don't understand it.
That doesn't make them a coward. That's not their job. It's not like we put them in that position.
You are a fucking elected official in a country that is fucking at each other, ready to tear itself apart. And any fucking leader who leads from the back ain't a leader. That's a boss. A leader leads from the front. Get your ass out front and calm those fucking people down. Talk to your fucking constituents. Do something besides hide behind a fucking 45-year-old guy with a dad bod and a fucking 9mm.
You're on 100% right on that. There were people in that building that could have stepped outside and extinguished that whole situation.
And I'm not saying they would have been successful. I would have respected the attempt.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I'm just being honest here. I don't care what party you are. It could be you could be fucking full on Nazi party, full on communist party. I don't give a shit. If someone stepped out and was like, "This is ridiculous. This is not how to go about doing this. They're only going to clamp down on you more. Don't you see this? God damn it, I'm a cog in the machine, and I'm telling you this. Why would I lie to you? This isn't the way to go about this. Period. End of story. I would have been like, that person's a person of moral integrity.
Yeah, this country's not known for unringing bells.
No, but those people who had those opportunities, they were
they chicken shit out.
They chose to play with fire. They said, "Oh no, we can incite a little bit of tyrannical overthrow of the government would be fine as a snack,
See, and once again, I want to make it clear, I don't put this at the feet of Biden and Pelosi and Harris. I know that there's a lot of people on the right who are trying to fucking pin, well, this all happened because of them. No. The politicians who could have done something and maybe got some sense into these fuckers' heads ain't those people that I just named. It's the Republican politicians who sat back and did nothing because they've been enjoying the ride on Trump's coattails for 4 years.
It's that fucking Josh Hawley creep that instead cheered them on.
Yeah, and by the way, once again, to my point, you're cheering them on. Why are you running and hiding? Go out there and join them if you're so fucking down for the cause. Oh, you want us to do your dirty work for you, just like Trump does.
I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember the source, but somebody had said that Josh Hawley looked like they said his head could fit in a can of Pringles.
Once you pop, you can't stop.
I'm going to see when I look at that guy. I'm going to see a Pringles can on his head now.
All right. Well, do we want to try to get away from politics here for a minute? Because we got a bunch of shit that happened in the world besides that.
Yeah, we could talk about some other shit. What else is going on?
We have to talk about Wonder Woman 1984.
It's sad, isn't it? Did you watch the whole thing?
Chris, I know you didn't watch this. Yes, I did. Chris, I know you didn't watch this movie most likely. You ain't missing anything.
I've heard
I don't know. It's like a made-for-TV movie, dude.
The only thing I have to say about it, I said on the week, and I'll say it here, and then you two can have at it. I knew something was up, because all you heard about it the day after it came out was about how it set streaming records on HBO Max. You weren't seeing all of the adulation that you were seeing with the first one. People weren't talking about crying at the end and all this shit. And then a couple days after, some stories coming out like, hey, this might be a piece of shit. Another day, hey, and then all of a sudden the floodgates open. Boom, just massive piece of shit.
This is not the, right wing. We hate women and colored people.
No, absolutely not.
This is a bad movie. It's just a bad movie.
I was so looking forward to this movie. I watched the first one in anticipation, a couple days before, and a lot of that movie still holds up. The last third of it is just a CGI nightmare, and there's really no story there to carry you through any of it, so it just kind of falls apart. But it has so much going for it. I mean, it has flaws, but it has so much heart, and it just felt like everyone was really into making that movie and telling that story, and none of that seems to have translated to the second movie at all.
And it's the same director. She was the main scriptwriter on this movie. It's not like it's a different crew.
Yep. And some people are trying to phrase this as like, it's just a failure of tone. They were trying to shoot for a certain tone and they didn't hit it. And yeah, they didn't. Like they were shooting for, let's make our own take on like an 80s action superhero film, but they didn't really know how to execute that faithfully.
Did they have to choose
but that wasn't even
3 and 4 to emulate?
Right. But that wasn't even the biggest problem with the movie. The biggest problem was the complete lack of imagination in the writing. The biggest problem was a story that wouldn't have passed muster on a 1960s Wonder Woman story, much less one made in 2020. It's something that would have been too cheesy for Linda Carter Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I mean, basically, wishes are the enemy.
And characters that are just thin as rice paper.
I've also heard that for a movie set in 1984 that the soundtrack is a big swing and a miss.
It's weird, man. It's just there's so many great opportunities there that they just failed on. As far as at least to have some good needle drops to move the movie along a little bit.
There's so many, like, I was watching it with my jaw open, going, what the fuck? How did this get released? And they reshot it to the tune of $200 million. That's what they spent on that movie. They knew they had shit. They went back and reshot shit.
Is their second try?
Well, you can tell that they have 2 opening sequences, so that I'm sure the original cut of the movie was the mall sequence, and they said, well, this isn't really that good. Can you come up with a better one? And they're like, oh yeah, let's go back to Themyscira, which I thought was great scene. I like that's how you opened up the last one. I like how they opened up this one with it. I think if they were going to release a whole movie without a scene in Themyscira, then I don't know what they're doing. Like, show us more Amazons. But, that whole scene was tacked on. It's a nice opening scene, but it doesn't have anything to do with anything that happens in the rest of the movie, except for that they hint at, the reveal of the armor and the character and all that Linda Carter plays. But it doesn't actually set up, it doesn't point your character in a certain direction.
Question for you guys.
It doesn't set up anything for Wonder Woman that she had. She doesn't learn a lesson
that's carried over into the. Yeah, I was like, right. Oh boy, this is going to be on the nose, ham-fisted message shoved in my face, and it wasn't. It was just an action scene at the beginning of the movie for no reason.
Question for you guys.
There needed to be a point at some point when Wonder Woman was facing off with Cheetah or Max, that she had a cheat, a way out. Or, it could have been something to do with, like, bringing Steve Trevor back, right? So her cheat was, like, she could have Steve Trevor and just kind of, like, I can just kind of neutralize these people but not, like, completely defeat them or something like that. And she decides, no, I've got to do the right thing. I've got to do this the right way. Remembers the words that what's her name told her. But there's none of that. It does. Like, even on the most basic of movie plotting, they fail. They're trying to emulate what were cheesy, really thinly plotted movies of the 80s, and they can't even keep together a basic plot structure of a cheesy 80s movie.
Do you guys think, now this question is based solely on, I have seen neither of these movies and you guys have, it's based clearly on your reactions to both of these. Do you think maybe perhaps this movie suffered from the director and the writers buying into the hype of the first movie? Like, they thought, hey, we do whatever and it's going to be fucking great because the first movie was so well received.
I think it suffers more from an overall lack of a common thread through all the DC movies. The DC movies, they wanted to do like Marvel, and it seems like they've kind of half-assed given up, but they half-assed still wanted to be like Marvel, because they put out something like Joker and they go, this is a standalone movie, but it's getting a sequel and it's going to have something to do with DC cinematic universe, but not really. And it's like,
that is so classic DC, though. Oh, we got this Elseworld store that's totally self-contained. Oh, it sold $2 billion. Oh, we're going to do a couple sequels to this, and now this is a whole new universe.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I think it's kind of that, because I think obviously she was feeling herself, and as a director, if I was screening that movie, Chris, I'm not bullshitting you, man. This is some of the worst wire work for stunts I've ever seen in a Hollywood movie.
It was kind of pathetic. Just to even make Wonder Woman swing around in the first place, like, we're not watching Spider-Man. This is not who this character is. So why are you doing this? And also, why are you doing it so poorly? It's 2020.
Yeah, it literally. At one point, I was like, "Oh, we did this at Specs with the chroma key and the green screen."
Damn, it's like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, obviously,
dude, when Disney's putting out TV shows that put your fucking movie to shame, that should really make you look at how you're doing things, Warner.
Well, unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
New year, new budgets. Every small business has unique needs. And when you partner with a Dell Technologies advisor, you get real-time tailored advice. They'll even give you a free consultation on your servers and storage devices to develop a custom solution to help improve your company's productivity. Plus, get special financing with Dell Business Credit and big savings on business computers with Intel Core processors. Call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
ChristopherMedia.net. Unregimented.
There's Disney has kind of. I know Disney owns Lucas Arts and Lucasfilms.
Yeah.
But Disney kind of fucked up because they gave, like, whoever's running Lucasfilms obviously has a rabbi at Disney that's watching out for them because they pulled the fucking exclusive gaming license from EA.
Yep.
And they said, no, we're giving other studios a chance to make games for LucasArts. And Bethesda immediately is like, we've been working on an Indiana Jones game, and if you know anything about Bethesda, they're the type of company that they announce it, and then within a year, the game's here. They don't talk about shit and show you shit and get you hype for shit
that
that's
indie
like
game's going to be dope.
10 years away. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And on top of that, there's kind of like a split between everything I'm reading and hearing. There's a split in the Lucasfilm between the movie side and the television side, and it's kind of. It's went to Marvel too. You know what I'm saying? Like where Marvel's like you know, they're putting out their TV shows coming up. You know, WandaVision. By the way, did that premiere?
Yeah, I watched the first 2 episodes.
Okay,
interesting.
I haven't caught it yet. So
yeah. But I think what's happening between now you have like Marvel's doing their comics in the Star Wars universe. Lucasfilm Games or whatever they're called is doing, you've now got, video games have full plots in them. So there's all character development and shit that they're doing over there. And then they're doing the movies, right? And Disney wants to adhere to the traditional Lucas method of we control the canon. And there at one point, there are all these books and comic books and all this stuff that expanded the galaxy, and they're like, nope, let's scrap all that, just the movies, right? We control the main Star Wars canon. And I think that the games division is feeling that their product's ultimately going to suffer from that type of oversight. That they want to expand the universe in their own way, and fans are accepting that because ultimately nobody controls the canon but the fans, and the fans are going to decide which games and which characters and developments from the games that they like, and then Disney is going to relent and go, okay, here's a whole fucking movie based on the character from the Fallen Order game.
Which, that's what I'm kind of waiting for. I'm kind of waiting for that like Knights of the Old Republic, basically a Star Wars game to come out of nowhere that completely blindsides the fandom to the point where it's as beloved as like the original, well, at least the prequel trilogy. I mean, if like people who are fans of Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, not the MMO, but the actual role-playing games that were on Xbox, are diehard fans. I mean, they're still modding and adding content on Steam to that game, and that game's almost 20 years old. I mean, that's how dedicated people are to it. And Lucasfilm has shot itself in the foot with its fucking gaming division since Disney bought it, because there was a Boba Fett game being developed. They dropped that. There was an open world. Imagine Grand Theft Auto in the Star Wars universe. That was the way it was described. And I'm like, yeah, because those games won't sell. Are you kidding me? That's a license to print fucking money.
Yeah.
What? That's a no-brainer. And yet Disney was like, nah, get rid of those. We're going to make Battlefield 2 with loot boxes that you have to buy with real money and gamble on. And I'm like, what are you doing? You're just ruining it. I mean,
I don't know what that means.
Well, we talked about it before, but it's been a while ago. Long story short is you use real money to buy mystery boxes that you open, and that's how you get your characters. Like when you buy the game, you spend $60 and you got a game, and there's like, out of the what they call heroes and villains, there's like one unlocked for each.
Yeah, you get to play a stormtrooper, you get to play one of those Roger droids, or you get to play the guy with the salad bowl on his head.
So it's an in-app purchase. That's what they're calling in the Apple universe.
Right, but it's it's going for the like card trading. It's basically like collectors. You know, you would buy a bunch of different packs of baseball cards, hoping to get that one rare one or that one foil card in your X-Men pack or whatever, and that's what they're doing.
Capitalism.
Well, they rode capitalism right into a fucking class action lawsuit that made them fucking take that out the game.
Oh, really?
So I mean, oh yeah. So
how's Apple get away with it?
They capitalism too hard.
Well, look, there's two sides of capital. How do they get away with it? People, accept it. The people playing the games with these loot boxes just stopped accepting that was their way to level up, was dumping sometimes hundreds of more dollars into the company just so that you could play the game on the same level that everybody else out there is playing and actually enjoy it. Because that's the difference. You've already spent $60 on something, and now you're out there getting your ass kicked with some fucking shitty character, and you're not enjoying the game. You're not having the same experience that everyone else is playing. But for $40 more you could. Yeah. Or that didn't do it. Well, for $40 more maybe you could.
But doesn't WoW do that?
Yet? Like, companies do that. I'm not saying that there's something necessarily illegal in structuring a business that way, but if you fuck over your customers, they're going to fuck you back.
Well, yeah.
The problem
that is also EA capitalism.
The problem that EA had is that with games like WoW and the Old Republic, like MMOs, the grind is part of the game. You play the game till you get to the level cap. And then you open up what they call end game rewards. And so you start running raids with other players, doing, end game reward missions, and you get gear and it has a random roll on it. That's how it used to be. This is literally, you could just open the game, put it in your Xbox, pull out your credit card, and you have the most powerful gear in the game. And you've not played it for 1 second.
I mean, my Madden game on my phone operates kind of the same way. I could level up normally, or I could dump $20 a day into it, and my team could be badass in like 3 days.
Yeah, that's Madden and FIFA were the models that they modeled this after. That's the Ultimate Teams is where all this came from, because this is all under Electronic Arts. It's all the same company that's doing this shit. But I mean, here's the thing: like we talked about before, off the air. With the Cyberpunk game that came out about a month ago. Yeah, that was a game that was hyped up for 8 years. It was being developed specifically for and during the lifespan of the PS4, Xbox One.
Is that why it was everywhere a month ago? Because it was just the hype was that. It was. I don't even play video games. It's in every newsfeed I have. Like, Jesus Christ, I've never looked this up ever.
Dude, 8 million pre-orders at $60 a pop. That's $500 million.
Wow.
That was just pre-orders.
We are in the wrong business, fellas.
And the game comes out.
Let's learn to code.
And essentially what they did was they released a game that is broken on the PS4 and the Xbox One, but you can put it in the new consoles. And even though it's specifically made for the Xbox 4 or PS4 and Xbox One, it'll play on the new consoles, and it plays smoother. And I'm like, so wait a minute. You guys designed a game for a PS4 and Xbox One, but it won't play on it, but it'll play on the next-gen consoles even though it's a last-gen game. Okay. I mean, it's a clusterfuck to the point where I've never seen this before, Sony and Microsoft are giving you rebates. Yep. For the game. Like, you own a physical copy? We're sorry. Here's your $60 back. And now I picked it up for the computer for $30. I had a Epic Store 50% off, and I was like, for $30, let me try it. Yeah, I know. but and then my computer ain't gonna play that fucking thing. So I signed up for one of the streaming gaming services, GeForce Now, and I'm running it on a fucking over the internet. I'm running it on a $4,000 fucking gaming computer with ray tracing at ultra and all this shit. Shit looks great. I don't know what none of it means, but it looks great, and it plays well. But then when I went into a gaming store, a local gaming store, a couple of days ago, I was like, "Oh, is that Cyberpunk is it running on the Xbox One? He's like, yeah. I'm like, can I play it? And he's like, yeah. Played it for 5 minutes. 2 bugs and the game crashed. I mean, 2 major bugs. Like
8 years, huh?
Jumping out of cars, not jumping out of cars like an animated thing, but like you're driving and then all of a sudden someone's standing doing the T-pose on top of your car, and I'm like, what the fuck is that?
What did we do for 8 years?
Exactly.
And that's the thing is, they made all that money off of pre-sales from people who owned PS4s and Xbox Ones. The dominant gaming systems out there on the market right now.
And they specifically said that game was designed for those systems. And CD Projekt Red, who put out Cyberpunk, even said, if you buy the game for the PS4 or Xbox One, when and if you get a new console, we'll give you the upgraded version for free.
Right.
See, that's the bitch of this situation. CD Projekt Red is a smaller company, but they put out some really prestigious games, and they had a really good reputation as far as customer service. And they're doing their best. It's something I never... First of all, I think it's because this company's set in Poland, and they have different laws about putting out broken products and charging people full price and shit. But their CEO made a video taking the blame. Do not blame our developers, our programmers. This is not their fault. This was our fault. We released it. We pushed it. We shouldn't have. And he, I mean, I'm just like a company taking responsibility and not blaming the customers. You hardly see that anymore these days.
Right.
I mean, think about it. How many times have we talked? The last X-Men movie, the director come out and goes, you know why this movie's bombed? Because it sucked because I made a bad movie. And I was like, oh my God, a director who's self-aware enough and honest enough, instead of going, it's a bunch of man babies who hate women and black people. Shut the fuck up. You made a bad movie, dude.
Right.
Just take the fucking L. Well, you ain't got to turn it into a fucking social cause. Just take the fucking L and move on with your life. It happens to us all, bro. It's like, you use your dick long enough, it won't work one time when you want it to. It's going to happen. But, I mean...
if you haven't had ED once, you're not doing enough fucking. That's your own problem.
Fuck more. That's
the numbers game.
And believe me, there's no feeling worse than being at the end of the bed slapping it against your inner thigh. Like, I swear this thing was working a few minutes ago. Just give me a second here. I don't know. You want to go make a sandwich or something? Get something to eat? Maybe I'll jumpstart it while you're in the next room. I don't know. But no, I mean, gaming people still have this attitude, mostly older people, sadly, people in our generation and older, that gaming is like this children's, hobby.
Yeah.
Gaming this year surpassed Hollywood, television, like all of Hollywood, everything that encompasses the music industry and streaming industry in total money made.
Yep.
I mean, there are literally half of the world, 350 billion people have an a PS4. That's half the fucking planet.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I have to tell you, I didn't know that. I like the idea that the CEO of CD Projekt Red, that he took personal responsibility for it, because we hear so many horror stories about these programmers, the people who work on getting these games out. This takes an immense amount of people, an immense amount of man hours to produce these products. This isn't a 2-hour movie. This is a 60-hour epic in some cases. And these people, they go through a lot. It sounds like an exhausting fucking job, and they get enough shit as it is just from being ground up in the business. And then to think that they would then be blamed for a bad product on top of that that'd be a horrible thought.
Well, and that's where the CEO, I believe it was him. This wasn't in the statement he released, but this was in an interview, and I read the quote. And if it wasn't him, it was someone at the top of CD Projekt Red. They said, "So you went into crunch time to get it out on December 9th, and obviously it's a buggy game. It has its issues. You guys are working on patches." And they were like, "Yeah, we're going to work on patches, but we're giving our programmers the time off we told them we were going to give them. Mm-hmm. Just because we released a buggy game, we're not going to take their family time away from them around the holidays. So when they're done with their holiday vacation, they'll come back. And true to their word, I think there's been 2 patches in the last week. I know they've patched 3 or 4 times the computer version of it. I'm not sure about the console version. And the thing is, it's a damn good looking game. It's fun. If you like the setting, you will like the game. But they promised way too much, and they just couldn't deliver. I mean, hey man, you got to love the tenacity of swinging for the fences every time. But you're going to strike out a lot when you swing for the fences every time. I'm just saying. Yeah. And this is a game that, I mean, I've got 40 hours in it. I'm enjoying it, just running around doing all the side shit. I think I'm halfway through the main story. I like fucking around in the world that they build, because it's like Grand Theft Auto with cybernetics, implants and shit, and being able to hack.
I've been calling it Grand Theft Robot, but because I was kind of disappointed in just what I saw from it, because cyberpunk is that's a pretty specific thing. This isn't like saying fantasy, right? Sci-fi. Yeah. Like cyberpunk, that's, a handful of novels, a role-playing game, and some movies that make up that genre, basically, And I don't see much of any of that reflected in this game. It's just, wouldn't it be cool if, your character from GTA could also, have a robot arm? But, then again, I haven't played it.
Well, I mean, like I said, if you enjoy the setting, if you're into it's almost at certain points in the game, it's like I just stepped into Blade Runner, the movie, like in the game.
If that movie can give me those moments, or that game can give me those moments, then I'm interested.
But I mean, excuse me. But at the same time, they're fixing stuff, and what they're saying is basically they hope to have the last really needed patch out in March that will make it run on everything. And it's like, okay, then why didn't you just put the game? I understand you wanted to get it out for Christmas. I got that, especially. Yeah. Chris, you said it yourself. You don't even fucking play video games, and you heard about the fucking thing. Jeez, that's how much hype was surrounding this shit. The last game I remember being this hyped, Fallout 4.
I know enough to know Keanu's involved.
And when I say Fallout 4, the reason I say it was this hyped is because I had people like my buddy's dad, who doesn't even know how to turn on a computer, going, "Hey, are you going to get that Fallout game when it comes out?" And I'm like, "What the fuck do you know about Fallout?" Like, seriously, that's, huh? But yeah, I don't know, man. I would have fucking, that company's taken a hit with their reputation. I mean, their next game is better be on point. That's all I'm going to say, and it better deliver what it fucking promises, because with gaming making up as big of a chunk of our fucking entertainment dollars it does these days, more and more people are going to get into the hobby that are not going to be patient and not want to fucking build a $3,000 gaming computer to play one game.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, this is bullshit. I want to plug and play. Let's go.
It seems like not only are they just raking in bigger dollars with these games versus what Hollywood's raking in on most of their movies, but these things have a much longer shelf life as well. I actually picked up the Witcher 3 at the beginning of this year. This is a 7-year-old game now, and it wasn't really my cup of tea. My oldest kid loves it. Beat the whole fucking thing. And that's a game that, and that same company that did Cyberpunk, CD Projekt Red, and, based on their previous track record, I think there's a lot of hope still for this company. They fucked up. And I get that they get that, but they do have a good track record of good game support. There were many expansions for that Witcher game. It's a huge fucking game. It totally sucks. It just didn't really engage with me all that much. But they make solid projects, and Fallout 4 is still being played out there. How old is that game now? It's almost as old as The Witcher, I think.
It came out 5 years ago. Both of them did.
Okay.
CD Projekt Red handled it, to me, the right way. They put out The Witcher, they had DLC, but then they had it was free. They weren't charging you another fucking $60 to play this fucking shit. And just customer friendly stuff like that, it's becoming less and less in the video game industry because there's more and more money to be made. And usually, as the bigger something becomes, the more shitty the customer service gets. I mean, it's the nature of the beast. But putting out a game that was 3 months away from being completed and expecting people to sit around for 3-4 months with basically beta testing the game, and then go, okay, well now we completed it. Now you can play it for real. It's 4 months old. It's not a game that lends itself into playing after the main story. Once you finish the story, it's okay, you can do side stuff, but once that's done, the game's over with. There's a definitive, you've 100%ed the game, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
so
okay.
it's not like Grand Theft Auto where you can just hop on GTA Online and play for 6 hours and never talk to the same person and run missions for 6 hours with just random people. You can't do that yet. Mm-hmm. They say that's coming. Okay. I don't know how that's going to work because my character the build I have is OP as fuck. So you put me against other people, it's either just going to be one hit kill fest or not even worth trying. You know what I'm saying? I just can't imagine it. Especially once you get into the cybernetic implants, you start putting blades in your arms and rocket launchers and shit, and it's I don't know how you're going to do a multiplayer because everything is one hit kills. So, and that ain't going to be fun. But hey, I'll try it if it comes, when it comes out. But I mean, then again, I do think there is a good game, and most reviews I've read that are true reviews, where they're being honest. They're there is a good game underneath the bullshit. They rushed it out. It's obvious they rushed it out. If this game was released 3-4 months ago and it's finished, final finished form, we'd probably be sitting here talking about how it's a masterpiece. But we didn't. They didn't. They released it. And here's the thing. For all their fucking apologizing, they did some shady shit. They had a review embargo. They said that you can't...
Yeah.
They sent the game out, and they said, but you can't talk about it till this day. Okay, well, that's pretty standard operating procedure in the review, especially AAA games release. That's what they do. But they said you can only use footage they provided the reviewers, and it was... They were not allowed to use console footage in the reviews.
Yeah, that all sounds shady. If I'm a reviewer, what are you hiding?
That's exactly what happened.
Yes.
And
it's I'm going to levitate this object, but you can only see it from this one angle, and I need you to close your eyes when I do it, okay?
Light as a feather, stiff as a board. Light as a feather, stiff as a board. But no, seriously, I mean, and because of the goodwill they had built up, the goodwill equity with gaming magazines and just basically gamers in general, they were we'll kind of let it go. If it does what it says it does, okay, we'll let it go. And then they got it, and it didn't. And you had a lot of reviewers coming out initially giving this game 9s, 9.5, and then the real review, I mean, this is your IGNs and your, GameSpot.
Yeah.
The people who, when Gamergate was started, it was because people were tired of buying games based on bullshit reviews because it turned out Gamergate, it had nothing to do with gender, sex, discrimination, nothing. It had to do with shitty business practices and payola between gaming companies and these reviewers. And people were tired of spending $60 to get a game that's not finished. Fallout 76 looking your way, that type of situation. And people were like, this is what we were talking about 6 fucking years ago. This is horse shit. This game is broke. Objectively, you can't give this game a 9.5 out of 10. It's impossible. It is broke. It is broke on 2 systems. By the way, 2 systems that it sold the most on. So
yeah, nobody rates a movie and not a great movie, but I'm going to still give it 5 stars because there's a lot of spirit there. Like, I really understood what they wanted to do.
I mean, I felt like that watching the movie before. Like, I really want to like this movie, but god damn it, they shoot themselves in the foot.
I felt it. No, I like, you understand. I've seen that before. Like, you see where, they wanted to make a certain type of movie and fell short, and I can still appreciate that. But that doesn't mean I'm going to say, oh, it's a great movie.
Well, I mean,
good intentions will get you an extra star.
Yeah, that's about it. Ain't going to get you a 9.5 out of 10. On a broken game.
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.
You might not think that a few simple words could make you crave McDonald's breakfast sandwiches. But if you listen closely to the sound of me saying McGriddles, McMuffin, you might be wrong. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
When you talk to a Dell Technologies advisor, you get someone who understands there's an art to listening and can provide small business solutions that make you feel truly heard. For solutions powered by Intel vPro platform, call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL.
The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
ChristopherMedia.net. Unregimented.
Well, speaking of broken shit, I think you've been watching, or you at least tried to watch The Stand.
Yeah, so I did watch The Stand. I did not enjoy the first episode, and I don't think I'm going to be back, but I do still have the CBS subscription. They're doing this whole bundle thing. Like, if you get Apple TV, then you can get a bundled subscription to Showtime and CBS for $10, which is $1 less than getting Showtime on its own. So I'm kind of an idiot to not have CBS if I want to watch Showtime. So I've got it there, and maybe I'll go back and give it another shot because I don't know. Sometimes with shit like this, that I'm probably bringing a lot of preconceptions and of what I think they should be doing with a show like this, and so when they don't go that route, then I'm kind of instantly thrown. So it might just be me, but I didn't feel like there was a lot of strong writing and character acting on the screen there to like make me want to go back and see where they're going with the show. Like.
Yeah, you're right on the money. It's absolutely, and it doesn't change. It's more of the same. I feel no connection to any of these characters.
Yeah. I watched the whole first episode and didn't give a fuck about anyone. They're all idiots and assholes.
I mean,
I hate when that happens.
You can say what you want about the '94 made-for-TV one, but Gary Sinise is Stu Redman in my mind. Ever since I read that book when I was like 9, 10, I had no idea who Gary Sinise was. Then I saw that and I'd read both the abridged and unabridged versions. So I mean, we're talking like 1,300 pages. So I mean, I'd invested some time in this book over the years. And when I saw Gary Sinise playing him in that role, that's how I picture Stu Redman whenever I've reread the book since then in my mind.
Yeah.
James Marsden,
He's a tall glass of milk is what he is.
Yeah, it's just like
good to look at, but really nothing there, and you shouldn't really be drinking it. You're an adult.
But I mean, like, they've here's where they fucked up. I get that they were trying to tell the story in a new way, but this story does not work in flashback mode, and that's what they're doing, because you see. In, I guess, present day, characters meet each other. Right. In the book, there'd been 400 pages of building up to these characters meeting each other, so it was an earned moment. And they're like, Nick, here's Larry Underwood. And, and it's like, these are two of the main characters meeting for the first time. This is supposed to be a meaningful moment. And they know it when they filmed it because, they went during the editing process, they put the music in that comes up, but it's not an earned moment because you're like, why the fuck do I care these two random people meeting each other?
Yep. You have no idea what came before that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they literally haven't shown you yet. And it's like they meet, and then in the next episode they cover how Larry was following Harold and them across. Or, excuse me, it was Larry Underwood meets Harold Lauder, how he was following him across the country.
Harold is the autistic character?
No, that's Tom Cullen. Harold is the one.
Okay.
My name is Tom Cullen. I'm 42. That guy. I don't know if he for real has autism, but he is on point. That's the one character I'm like, yeah, okay. I have a cousin with autism. It's kind of how he talks. He's got the mannerisms down if he's not autistic. So that guy gets a thumbs up from me. He gets a gold star. But it's just not an earned moment, and you don't understand why it's a big deal. And on top of it, the next episode they show you, he was following Harold's signs across the country, but it's like literally a 15-second throwaway line, and it's like this is the essence of their fucking relationship. You know what I'm saying? This is Larry Underwood built Harold up to be someone he wasn't in his head, and he meets him, and he's like, he's just a fucking kid with acne.
Right.
This is what I followed across the country? I thought I was following a leader of men. I thought I was following Stu Redman. You know what I'm saying? That's
like, is Harold's kid? This is what really threw me in that first episode. Is I don't remember Harold being so intentionally unlikable as a character. Like,
no, he wasn't. He was. First of all, they always. I don't know. I get under.
He was awkward. He was alienated. He was a nerd. He was like he was like the dude who smelled like cat food at a fucking comic book convention that had like one friend.
Yeah,
but he wasn't a fucking asshole.
No, he wasn't stealing pictures of Fran and jerking off to him in the book, and he wasn't fucking, spying on her creepily. You know what I'm saying? Like that. He was in love with her, but
it seems like they looked at that character and said, well, he came off as likable in the book, but I think we need to re-examine this character through a lens of 2020. There's a lot of toxic masculinity here that we need to examine.
But there was nothing masculine about Harold Lauder in the book. That was the point.
Yeah, I know.
He was, first of all, Hollywood, I get it. You think all nerds are over or underweight guys. I get it.
Right.
But he was a fat ass in the book who lost weight traveling cross country on a motorcycle. I get that you can't really ask a fucking, basically a soap opera actor to fucking go all De Niro. But can we stop with the fucking these scarecrow skinny guys and they're like that automatically you're a creepy nerd. Like, it's stupid. And then this is the last episode, this Friday's episode. I'm 10-15 minutes. I'm giving episode 6, and then I'm if it doesn't even attempt to right the ship, I'm done. I can't even out of morbid curiosity watch this anymore. They finally focused on Vegas. They turned Vegas into Caligula. That is not the point of the Dark Man in Vegas. He was an authoritarian. He crucified drug users.
Yes.
He fucking skinned rapists alive. He got the techies because, as Glenn Bateman, the great sociologist in the stand, said, techies like when the trains run on time, and he'll make them run on time. We're worried about freedom. Okay? That was the point. No, it's fucking Sodom and Gomorrah. And I'm like, and then I see Owen King, Stephen King's own son, wrote this fucking screenplay, and I'm like, did he kick you when you were a baby or something? Why would you murder his fucking, arguably his most famous work, his magnum opus, if you will? Why would you shit all over it? Did he not hug you when you were a child? There is so much missed. And then, I mean, it's 2020, so it started in 2020, it's 2021, but, and so, the gender and race swapping and shit, like, whatever. First of all, Larry Underwood, isn't Underwood a Jewish name? Why is he black? But whatever. The actor is fine in the role, but he doesn't, once again, I don't care about him as a character.
Right.
Like, I don't care about Mother Abigail, and she's arguably the most famous person in that fucking show because, Whoopi Goldberg's been around all our lives. And I just don't care about her. Ruby Dee did better on a made-for-television miniseries 26 years ago.
Right. So then this is what happens when you make decisions based on, there wasn't a whole lot of black people in the original story, and we should fix that. I'm okay with that, right? So how do you fix that? Well, I don't know. Let's make this guy black. you're just going to make the character. No, you have to write that into the character. So if that character is black and not white, does that mean something to that character? Does it change the character's motivations or something? I don't know. Like when you actually write it into the story and do things for a reason, people will accept it. But most of this just comes off as like trying to Disneyfy your cast. Like, okay, this all looks good. We just need to make this one Asian, this one black, and this one in a wheelchair.
Well, do you remember when not the Jessica Alba, but the other Fantastic Four come out? And
yeah, the Josh Trank one.
Yes, Josh Trank. I was trying to remember his name. And the guy who played Johnny Storm was Michael B. Williams, and he's obviously black. And in the movie, Susan Storm was still a sister.
Yep.
So a reporter said, "So do you guys go into the in the movie? Do you go into the story like is one of you adopted, something like that?" And he got indignant. What's it matter? And I'm sitting here like, I don't know, motherfucker. What does it matter? Because my generation was told to not pay attention and treat someone based solely on their skin color a certain way. Your generation's been telling me I'm wrong for the last 10 years. What does it matter? You tell me, asshole. Right. You're the one that fucking set the rules for this party.
And it shows Josh Tranks and others involved in that film their complete misunderstanding of the core material. Fantastic Four is about family, and it's not necessarily always about the family that you were born with. Sometimes it's family that you were thrown together with. It's Fantastic Four is about a family born out of trauma, right? They had a traumatic experience that bonded them together for life. Right, so tell that. If you want to make a character black, do it. Now you have to tell that story, though, because that adoption story or whatever it is that brought those people together is core to your story of family that you're trying to tell with the Fantastic Four. This is a perfect analogy of people coming together who weren't blood related but still consider themselves to be family and bonded for life. But no, you just pay. You not only. That's why it's not just paving over it and saying, oh, that shouldn't matter. It's missing a perfect story opportunity that's right there out in the open for you. That's what really pisses me off about a lot of these choices.
Well, one of the things they've done in The Stand that really irked me is they took a main character and they gender swapped him. It was Ralph Brentner, now it's Ray Brentner. Okay, fine, whatever. But Ray Brentner was like Nick Andros, who is a major character, plays a major role through the novel and, the 1994 series. They seem to have, that's the other thing, they seem to have really, really just ignored a lot of people's fucking stories. And I'm like, what's the point of having a 10-hour fucking miniseries if you're going to give me an even more abridged version than the 1994 one?
Right.
But whatever.
Now, a lot of taffy pulling.
They change her Ralph to a female, and then they ignore her character. She's had one meaningful scene in 5 episodes, and that's when she says Mother Abigail's ran away. And I'm like, so you want us to blow you and toss your salad because you're so woke that you fucking gender swapped somebody, but then you fucking bury him. What are you, Disney with Finn? Well, we got a black stormtrooper, but we're not going to do anything with him. Well, what the fuck is the point then? To show me that black characters can be just as boring as white characters? I knew that. I've watched fucking the WB, okay? I know that there's bullshit black characters. I don't need you to drive the point home, Disney. Thank you. I mean, Jesus, God. And it's just, I have to wonder at some point, does anybody who makes these fucking adaptations ever read the goddamn books? Have you ever read a book, a Stephen King book? Because this is like, this blows my mind because this was set up on paper to be a home run.
Yeah.
I mean,
another project that I was super looking forward to.
I mean, you had a decent cast. You had the time, 10 hours.
A cast that could have easily carried any HBO show to the awards.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. You had the money, the backing. Jesus Christ, Ben Affleck was fucking an executive producer on this goddamn thing. You know what I'm saying? When you got Batman believing in your project and you still whiff on it, come on, man. Like, seriously? Like, and it's just, it feels, here's the bigger sin than almost everything I've said. Almost. It feels cheaper than the 94 version.
It does.
They never have any wide shots to show you 99.7% of the population of this planet is dead.
They're jumping all over the place in that first episode, and they don't set the scene. I'm watching it going, I don't know where I'm at in any of this.
Exactly. Aaron, that's exactly what me and a few people who are Stephen King fucking like hardcore fans were like, dude, if we hadn't read the book, by the way, both versions, the abridged and the uncut one, we wouldn't know what the fuck is going on. How the fuck is CBS expect someone brand new to this story to follow it?
That tight claustrophobic style would work great if you're going to tell a traditional King story that has a very specific closed setting, a small town in Maine, right? So you don't need to set the scene. You just throw a fucking water tower in the background, being like, oh yeah, it's a small town.
Yeah, you know what this feels like?
But this is a big story that takes place across all of fucking America. You got to give us a few establishing shots.
I swear to God. One of the shots when they gather in Boulder, literally you can tell they had permission to shoot one house. So they waited till it was night and they put a black backdrop behind the house so you couldn't see like the lights that were on across the street, and they filmed the scene outside. And I'm like, this is like watching a high school drama company put on Fury Road.
Somebody at CBS is running a fucking grift, man, because they're getting all these great licenses. They're getting all this money to do good things with them, and they're producing utter shit. Where's the money going?
Where's the money, Lebowski?
Yeah, somebody at CBS needs to have their head shoved in a fucking toilet and be like, what are you doing with these shows?
One of the reviews stated this. And I kind of feel it. I agree with him or her. I can't remember who wrote the review, but whoever wrote it, they said CBS is taking franchises that people associate with Gen X and older, and they're millenniifying them.
Right.
And it's like, so this isn't for you, old people. And she goes, and by the way, I'm an old person too. It sucks. But our time's passed. This is, when they do the apocalypse.
We still have money and like subscriptions and watch things, really?
Well, I'm just like, wait a minute. What does that have to do? Like, because the person was trying to make this point that this is just like if you showed someone from the 50s or the 40s a movie from 1975, they wouldn't understand. They'd be like, the style they wouldn't get. They're like, this is millennial style filmmaking. And I'm like, bullshit. What horse? Can't you just go
talk get to your whole audience?
I was literally reading the review going, you know what? Just go to the doctor and get all your ribs removed so you can blow yourself. Because that's what you really want to cum in your own mouth. You want to taste your own cum is what you want. Just fucking jerk off in your hand and slurp it up. Get it over with. Like, seriously, millennial film. What's millennial filmmaking? I mean, but then they tried to compare it to like the slacker movies, the Kevin Smith and Richard Linklater and stuff like that, like those type. Oh, that was Gen X filmmaking. I'm like, no, it was just young filmmakers coming into Hollywood. Are you saying Quentin Tarantino is Gen X filmmaking? Quentin Tarantino is a petri dish of every fucking genre, and he steals from them all. Like, that's how is that?
There wasn't really anything. There wasn't a whole lot of innovation going on in film in the 70s. All that shit had been done before in the 70s, and then we forgot about it for the fucking 80s blockbuster movies.
Yeah.
Star Wars and Jaws came along, and we were like, all right, well,
go back and watch
5 easy pieces. Go back to basic cable.
Go back and watch Slapshot and Network, and show it to someone who's never seen those movies, and they'll be like, they got away with this, and this is what movies were like in the 70s. Yeah. I thought they'd be talking about God and sleeping in different beds and blah blah. And it's like, what? Where do you think you are, motherfucker? This is not. You're not watching I Love Lucy. Are you serious? You think that's what it was like in the 70s?
The sexual revolution started in the late 60s.
Yes.
Open a history book.
No, and it's ignoring the base. What should be the motto of the business that you're tangentially involved in, which is entertainment, and that is good stories will appeal to all people.
Yes, they transcend time. They transcend everything.
Generations.
Yes,
absolutely. I didn't have to. In order to enjoy movies that were made before I was born, I didn't have to understand them in context. They were just engaging stories.
Even though sometimes it does help. Like Easy Rider, if you just show it to somebody nowadays, they'll be like, this is boring. Why was this movie important? It's like, you got to understand when it came out.
And that's what makes something like Easy Rider, I don't think it's a great film. I think it's an important film, but I don't think it's a great film. A great film is transcendent. You know, a great film would be entertaining to all people.
It's no Big Lebowski.
Clerks wasn't great because it was made by a Gen X filmmaker. Clerks was great because everyone who's ever had a shitty job watched that movie and went, right the fuck on.
And it had the best tagline ever. Just because they serve you doesn't mean they like you.
Yeah.
That's anyone who's ever worked in food service or customer service, that's the guy.
Everyone who ever watched Clerks and had a shitty job feels it every time Dante says, I'm not even supposed to be here today.
Yes.
It's supposed to be my fucking day off.
Yeah. I mean, it was basically, the review was, I get the feeling this person who wrote the review really likes what CBS has done with like Picard, whereas I despise it because I'm like, you've just destroyed the Star Trek universe. Star Trek was supposed to be a glimpse into what is possible if we let our better parts of our nature come out and we don't dwell on fucking war and that person's got one more than me. That's not fair. That's bullshit. No.
Yeah. No, I can tell you objectively, Picard is a bad show. I watched. I don't think I finished it, but I watched more than half of it. What was it, like 10 episodes or something like that? And I think I watched 8 of them before I gave up. And I have zero investment in Star Trek. I have no hate for it. I've seen, episodes. I've watched movies. I've enjoyed stuff here and there. But any of the callback stuff, any of the references, any of the fan service was completely wasted on me. And I thought they set up a decent story that they didn't follow through on, and it just fell apart. The whole show just completely fell apart.
Yeah,
it wasn't a failure of trying to update Star Trek for a new generation. It was a failure of just storytelling and TV making in general.
Well, if you're going to, I get that an IP like Star Wars and Star Trek is big enough to where you can have directors go off and play in their own little corner of the sandbox, and it won't really affect the overall canon and story. And that's fine. I'm all for that. But if you're going to play in that sandbox, you have to acknowledge that there were rules before you got there. And there were rules in this universe. Now, if you want to write a story about breaking the rules,
then write it into the story, though.
Yeah. But to just automatically go, no, all that's bullshit, doesn't matter, and just dismiss it out of hand so you could play with somebody else's toys but use your own rules. I don't know many people that are going to hand you something like the keys to like a $250,000 vehicle and say, do what you want.
That was the problem with the Ghostbusters movie. That's
but
why.
Even just
go ahead.
Well, no, go ahead.
Well, I'm just saying that wasn't the man babies in their basements. Well, it's women. No, the problem with that movie is it did not acknowledge the universe that came. It pretended like the first movie didn't even fucking happen.
Right, and even as a casual fan of Star Trek, I watched Picard and I was like, this doesn't feel like Star Trek to me. No. If you had an idea for like, what if we did Star Trek, but what if it wasn't a utopia? What if there's a lot of stuff that they haven't figured out? What if there is still like racism, war, and all this? And my response would be like, okay, well, go write that story.
Yeah, write a new show and don't call it Star Trek. Yeah.
if that's your idea, then you don't have an idea for a Star Trek story. Now, if you want to tell me about how it fell apart, how we once had, a galactic-wide utopia, and this is how it degrades back into chaos, then tell that story.
That'd be a great story to tell. Right. I can imagine a lot of good places a story like that can go.
But by the way, apparently I'm a randomly backslid for no reason other than it helps our story.
Why did this happen? Because the plot needed it to.
Yes.
It really is, man.
Like, you work in fantasy, so the God machine is there. The Deus Ex Machina is there for you to use to move your plot along, but you cannot have it be the entire structure for your plot.
Just name him something else other than Picard. Create a whole new story. Patrick Stewart can still play him.
That's the other thing. I mean, basically they're taking a character, putting him at the end of his life. There's a twist I'm not going to give up in case somebody wants to watch it. Because, I mean, hey, more power to you. You're free American and over 21. You can waste your time any way you want. But I won't spoil it for them if they do want to watch it. But they take them, and it's like, you're at the end of your life. Like, shouldn't there be like a summing up? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what they were going for, trying to tell that story. Instead, it's like he learns that everything he's known for 80 years is bullshit, and he just goes, "Oh, okay," and just accepts it and just starts moving forward.
Yeah, he should have had a little bit of like a sideways journey,
Yeah, cussing up a storm, by the way, which is something Picard has never done. Picard was. That is an affront to his intelligence. Picard will cut you into millions of pieces with his tongue and never raise his voice or say a cross word to you.
The swearing in that show stuck out so much like a sore thumb and was so improperly used. It was like a teenager using swears around their parents for the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like coming home from fucking college, pass the fucking potatoes. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. like are you trying to be edgy? What is your problem here?
Call it Space Odyssey, cut Iman a check, buy the Bowie song. Just call something else.
Yeah.
But that's the problem, because these people know that they can't come up with anything worth a shit. Their own shitty ideas won't get fucking greenlit. So they this is why I'm for gatekeeping in this extent. You don't understand the fucking franchise. Stop trying to write for it. Here's the original series. Watch a few episodes, then get back to me. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we've got a really weak story here and a bad premise for a show. So what should we do? Either go back to the drawing board and make it better, or attach it to a property that we know will sell.
And by the way, run off your fanatical legion of fans that you've had for fucking 60 years because you think that you're going to get a new crowd with a bunch of, F-bombs being dropped by Picard and him running around trying. First of all, Patrick Stewart is older than God. Let the man rest. Can we get him a role where he just... Professor X was perfect. Just sit in a chair.
Can we just get him a good VO gig? He can just do it in his basement.
Well, I'm just saying, dude, I'm not buying an 80-year-old man running around fucking like he's John McClane in the first fucking, Die Hard.
Yeah. And there was too many like shots where it's just like literally 1 second of him running.
Yes. And he probably ran for a total of 1.5 seconds. So that was what they could get out of it. But, I get it. I understand. Right now, it's a transitional period in pop culture. There's there is kind of a handing over of a baton. Our generation, even though we're on the tail end of it, we're kind of passing into later adult, later life. We're over the hump. Let's put it that way. And corporations, of course, are going to fucking try to, and entertainment companies are going to try to pander to the younger crowd. But judging by the numbers, the younger crowd ain't really feeling this all that much as well. I mean, like Picard, there's a reason that you don't. Chris, you said it. You heard about the streaming numbers with Wonder Woman 1984. I've never heard CBS All Access bragging about their numbers with Picard. And that was supposed to be what sold CBS All Access. That was like The Boys to Amazon Prime.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned The Boys, because I was going to say, if you want to know how to adapt a property and update it and give it mass appeal, The Boys is a perfect example of that. That is, you take what, not that it was a super well-known property, but its fans were pretty hardcore fans. And they managed to make changes that I didn't hear a whole lot of people being like pissed off about updates that they made to the story or characters.
I heard a little bit of grumbling between the first and second seasons about the gender swapping of Stormfront, but I think once her character, once they saw that she was going to just be just as evil as Stormfront was in the comics, they were like, doesn't matter.
Yep.
It doesn't matter. She's still the same. It's still the same bad guy I hate. That's all that matters. But
and again, and if you do all of that with still keeping an eye on a compelling story and fully developed characters, the mass appeal is going to be built into it. People are going to flock to it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of waiting right now, because right now we have a gaping hole in entertainment for someone to step in and to go, okay, look, politics ain't done nothing but divide us. God knows the internet's only just exasperated that situation. We all need to get on the same page and like something. So somebody come up with a fucking universally loved idea, or as close to universally loved as possible, because I'm telling you, like, there has to be. I know it's pop culture and it's disposable and it's bubblegum culture. I get all that, but it's also what binds us as Americans together, like it or not. And we need something like that right now.
Stories that we share are what bind us. Yes,
we need something like that right now. And like The Boys I think does a good job, because some weeks I'd watch an episode and then I'd go online and I'd hear people on the left bitching. Well, this show is fucking problematic. Then you next week, people on the right bitching. They're painting everybody as fucking school, conspiracy theorists, school shooters. Blah, blah. Okay, so is everybody pissed off? Have they made fun of everybody? Good, because no one's special, no one gets left out. We're all equally worthless. Let's just move on. But unfortunately, I think The Boys is like, I don't think it's everybody's cup of tea. It's not going to be the one unifying thing. I'm surprised Game of Thrones had as many people into it as it did. Because, I mean, like perfect example.
But its download numbers are huge. I mean, it does have it has more mass appeal than many streaming shows.
Does it? I mean, because once again, I have no idea where to even go to get those numbers, because from what I hear, the numbers are what the streaming service says they are. That's just what you go on.
It's a huge grain of salt to take. We don't have any real, we don't have a third party that can give us hard numbers on this shit. But
well, I mean, Todd kept bringing up when he was on the show a very good point. And him and I discussed it off the show quite a bit. How do we reconcile this one half of this country to the other half, to where we can all live together? Because, the division is just ridiculous at this point.
Well, we used to highlight it as a feature and not a bug. But not everyone's down with the melting pot concept anymore. And it's not, and it is a both sides thing, because on one side, you have people just unwilling to integrate and dilute their culture. And on the other side, you have people who are trying to bring in other things from other cultures and being told that they're stealing.
Well, when we were kids, it was, how do you get a job without experience? How do you get experience without a job? Now it's, you have to build up and lift up other cultures, but if you do, you're culturally appropriating them.
Right.
Well, what the fuck? How about this? Go fuck yourself. I'm done. Right? How about that? Like, seriously, and that's the beauty of this. I now that I'm not working in an industry where I'm working with a bunch of teenagers and 20-somethings, I don't give a fuck what you fucking people with no life experience got to say or think about anything. I don't give a shit. You people.
It's your turn to have that said to you. We had it said to us. It's your turn.
You people are so like the people I've worked with. I'm like, how old are you? Have you ever left home? Have you ever lived on your own? And you're almost 30, and you've always lived at home. I get that's like the new normal situation here in America, but you don't have enough life experience to come in here telling me what's what. Sorry, I'm not listening to you, and I don't care what you got to say. Like, make me care. How about that? How dare you make me care? That's how I feel, and it's a freeing feeling because I'm just like, pull yourself away from the news every once in a while. You really, Ari Shaffir, the comic who made the funny but ill-timed joke about fucking Kobe Bryant being a rapist after he died. He did an experiment on YouTube. He goes, for 2 weeks, all I did was watch cat and dog videos. He goes, in 2 weeks, that's all YouTube would ever fucking recommend to me. I had to go looking for political videos. They wouldn't show them or recommend. That's the algorithm. We're the ones doing this to ourselves. It's okay to push back and go, I can't handle any more bullshit today. That's it. My bullshit meter is full. It's okay to do that. And I mean, God knows it's what's gotten me over the last fucking, how long we been locked down now? 10 months?
Yeah. Well, I think my bullshit meter for today is full. I think I gotta wrap this up.
All right. Well, speaking of YouTube, we're on YouTube now. So Christopher Media has a YouTube channel. Go to it.
So go spend the next 2 weeks listening to nothing but Christopher Media shows.
Yeah, do that. I'll recommend nothing. We're still uploading. I learned YouTube only has a 99 video per day upload. We're still maybe a quarter in. So we got a lot of content. So it's there. So subscribe on YouTube. Let's see, what else? Social media, at Unregimented Pod, unregimentedchristophermedia.net. Email, like us on Facebook, and then go to christophermedia.net, hit the PayPal button. Like Dawn, happy birthday, Dawn. Dawn had a birthday yesterday.
Yes, happy birthday, Dawn.
Yeah, she's one of the OG listeners, been with us since the beginning.
Long-time supporter, yeah.
Yes. So if you want to be like Dawn, hit the PayPal button. You can subscribe. There's also an Amazon banner. You click through that. Helps us out. Doesn't add anything extra to your money. So win-win. And where do you listen to us? You listen at Amazon Music. You listen at Audible. Damn it, I thought I stalled enough to get the list brought up. I think it's on my phone. It's in my iCloud. Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Audible, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Spreaker, Stitcher, and now on YouTube. And those are all the big places. There's all the other places, too. If it catches an RSS feed, we are there. If you could also be so kind as to leave us a review, rating, wherever you listen to us, that helps people find us. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Later, guys.
The sweet aromas of the apple fritter, cinnamon roll, and blueberry muffin are hard to resist. So making it home without reaching in your McDonald's bag is no easy task. But nothing worth doing is easy. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's.
Good afternoon. Would you like to try a free sample of our double fudge brownie?
Oh, sure. That's very good. I'll just take one more, just to be sure. Yep, still very good.
Some things never change. Like never being able to take just one free sample. And Geico saving folks lots of money on their car insurance.
Is that macadamia nut I taste? Let me take one more.
Sir.
Yeah, I thought so.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Unregimented. ChristopherMedia.net.